The FBI thwarted a leftist terror plot against Donald Trump's UFC event at the White House, and more details keep coming in throughout the day, and we're learning quite a bit. Now, I'm shocked. This is not a much bigger story. I'm surprised we're not seeing it leading all of the major cable news programs. Dozens of individuals wanted to, quote, jumpstart the revolution. They intended to launch drones armed with explosives at buildings, funneling civilians in a direction where snipers were waiting to start taking them out. They intended to target with drones capitalist elites, billionaires, and individuals funded by AIPAC. After this, they intended to storm the White House. The plot was discovered only a few days before the event. They got access to information, tracked some of these people down. We now have mugshots. We have information on several of these individuals. One guy's 19. These were kids. They were children when Donald Trump descended that escalator. And when you smash them in the face for 10 years with Donald Trump as Hitler, this is what you are creating. And this is exactly what I've been warning about with generational shifts in politics. Exactly what we talked about in the show as it pertains to the idea of civil war. I know I'm saying it right off the bat, but it's not that people's ideas will change. It's that younger generations will be raised and their minds will be built around these ideas. So when you get angry young men and they are told there is only one solution, this is what happens. They buy guns. They plot attacks. We've got court documents. We've got images showing text messages. This is a major story. But my friends, something happened in the past couple of days because there's more. Apparently, the DHS has arrested 15 Antifa, anti-ICE protesters in Minnesota. We've also got an acid attack, a string of acid attacks in New Jersey. This is just absolutely wild. We're pulling into the story. It's from a couple weeks ago, but it's relevant. Paul Krugman saying we must demagify the United States, putting Trump supporters in camps to be re-educated. Holy crap. And then my favorite in all of this is the SPLC woman. One of the higher ups of the organization, actually dating a white supremacist and funneling $1 million+ to him. So it's kind of romantic. You think about it, she gets swept off her feet by a white supremacist. They team up and collude to destroy the country, for what it's worth. We're going to talk about all of that and more. But before we do, we've got big news. Head over to boonieshq.com. Click the link in the description below. This one you guys are going to love. The new America 250 boards are now available. And you'll see this right here. This is the one I know all of you want. This board, only 100 available, 10 randomly inserted gold editions, depicts the Timcast crew as revolutionaries taking out a redcoat Ian Crossland who is falling into a river, I guess. I don't know what city that is, but it's funny. So there's Phil, there's Carter, we got Tate and Mark, and there's me, and we're blasting them.
Glorious.
Calm down, YouTube. Ian's our friend.
Ancestors. It's
it is.
Famous portrait from the time.
And then there are 10 limited edition signature gold versions that will be randomly asserted. So 110 in total. And then for all the people who have strange mental issues like I do, we made a giant chicken with ripped, pulsing muscles riding a horse, flying the original flag of the United States. And of course, the gold version is just absolutely amazing. There's 10 of these, and it is a black and gold American flag backdrop available, of course, guys. Check it out. And then we also have this one right here, the Boonies 250 standard team board, just really cool for America's birthday. And of course, 5 limited edition gold versions. So get them now because we released them early to Discord members, and they're already selling like crazy. Because, guys, I knew right off the bat, when I saw this board of Redcoat Ian getting blasted by the Timcast crew, I knew that everyone was going to buy this.
I was like,
I think Phil.
Yeah, I know. And it's kind of not fair, but, it is what it is. Phil can buy one. We're not, But we want to make sure that you guys are able to get the limited edition gold versions and the full art versions. Very, very cool. So, my friends, smash the like button. Share the show with everyone. We got a lot to talk about. Joining us tonight to talk about this and so much more is Tony Ortiz.
Hey, glad to be here.
Absolutely, man. Good to have you. Who are you? What do you do?
I am Tony Ortiz. I am the publisher for Current Revolt. We publish daily Texas news, gossip, drama, and just everything happening in Texas. So we're a must follow if you're a Texan.
Right on. Shamus is back.
I'm Seamus Coughlin. I am fighting the culture war by creating culture earlier this year, or actually I should say at the end of last year. We raised money to create a full-length animated show. We released the first episode of that recently on our YouTube channel. So if you want funny, engaging content that's thought-provoking, has good drama, good storylines, good characters, and is very funny, go over to Freedom Tunes, watch our new show, Twisted Plots.
My name is Phil Labonte. I'm the lead singer of the heavy metal band All That Remains. I'm an anti-communist and counter-revolutionary. Carter's
pushing the buttons.
What's up, everyone? Pushing the buttons. Let's get into it.
We got the story from the AP. More information now coming in. Authorities say they've disrupted planned drone gun attack on White House UFC cage fighting show. This is absolutely insane. Guys, I got to stress this. I don't understand how this is not bigger news. I mean, it was a big story this morning, but I'm watching the news all day, and they're like, Donald Trump appeared at the G7, and he said naughty words. And I'm like, bro, 20-plus leftists were actually, my understanding is that several of them were in transit to Virginia, to Fredericksburg, to start preparing for this. They were armed, and they only found out about this a few days before the event. Joe Rogan even said this on his show several times, that he thought it was a bad idea to do the White House event because it'd be such a big target. So the story's pretty crazy. Apparently, one of these dudes' moms got suspicious because he was buying all these guns abruptly. So she called the police, and then they investigated. Apparently, the feds get involved. Multiple states started investigating this. They found out on the 10th, I believe. They say they recovered high-powered firearms from several of the suspects, reviewed encrypted text messages between roughly 20 participants who shared detailed maps and aerial photographs of the area and discussed the need for a safe house. The intention was, J.D. Vance says, let me read this. It didn't even get close to the point of execution. They weren't in town. They had not really done that much planning, he said. Well, that's great to hear. That's great to hear. I'm glad. Law enforcement officials learned about the possible threat on June 10th. They said, thanks to the rapid action of the FBI, our partners, and the DOJ in a multi-state operation, multiple individuals are now in custody, and allegedly planned attacks were stopped cold, Kash Patel said. 5 people from states, including Ohio, Missouri, Nebraska, and California, were arrested on federal charges. Asked about the arrest Tuesday, Vance said that there was more violent rhetoric coming from the left than the right these days, but the charging documents paint a more muddled view of their views, depicting them as espousing a tangled web of anti-government sentiment, anti-Semitic grievances, fury over the Trump administration's handling of the Jeffrey Epstein files, and conspiracy theories about a powerful elite that sacrifices and consumes children. Wow. Both Trump and Vance said they had not been briefed in advance of the plot. Now, additionally, they had said in previous reports that they were targeting capitalist elites, billionaires, and those funded by AIPAC. So there's a general, you know, what my response to the baby eating and AIPAC stuff, that could be left or right. But capitalist elites and billionaires is not something right-wing, you know, conspiracy people are targeting. The big story here, in fact, let me pull this one up, was that they said the plan called for the use of drones that would be detonated over the north side of the White House, prompting an evacuation into the line of fire of waiting snipers in an attack Proper said was designed to jumpstart a revolution. Investigators who examined Proper's phone and TikTok account identified additional suspects. So we have this now from the New York Post. Heavily armed TikTokers plotted to attack UFC Freedom event. So this is Tyson Proper. He's 19 years old again. So these guys were going to launch drones, force an evacuation. When the crowds then ran away from the drone explosions, they had snipers waiting to start taking out civilians. They were then going to storm the White House. So this guy, he's 19. And the first thing, I think the most important thing to understand, the age. This guy was 9 years old when Donald Trump descended from those escalators. And you have, I talked about that. We talked about it quite a bit. Two big things. They say that every 7 years, every cell in your body has been replaced, right? So 7 years, so it was 2023 when I pointed this out. That means there are people today who every cell in their body exists in a state of Trump is Hitler. I don't mean that isn't like any literal scientific sense. I'm just saying this narrative has been around so long that people's every cell in their body, I don't know if it's true about the cell in your body thing anyway, but that's what they claim. But one more thing, the important thing is, as I've explained over and over again as it pertains to civil war, it is not that boomers all of a sudden go, we got to take up arms. That's not what happens. It's that this child, this 9-year-old kid, is being screamed in the face by adults and teachers saying, fascists have taken over. They've taken over. And they're shaking this kid. And he's like, what's happening? He grows up in this world. They tell him over and over again, it must be done. It. And what do you get? Dozens. And I'd be willing to bet there's substantially more people just like this, late teens, early 20s, who are psychotic. And we're going to get a lot more of this in the coming years.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they always accuse you of what they're going to end up doing. The reality is this is exactly what they wanted January 6th to be. This is exactly what they wanted the public to believe it was, an attempted coup, a revolution. What we have here is so much worse in terms of the actual structure and planning of what happened. And it's these young men. Now, we're constantly hearing about young, angry men online and how they're all right-wing and every single one of them is a potential terrorist. And the reason for that is because freedom of speech is allowed on these platforms instead of us forcing a left-wing narrative onto everyone. But of course, the more bought into left-wing narrative people get, the more radical and revolutionary they become in their politics.
Yeah, and the narrative that these guys have espoused, right? All the Epstein class are eating children. They're anti-capitalist, which is very, very left wing, obviously. After the elites, the people that have money, it's very left wing, but it does sound like it's kind of like horseshoe theory terrorism, right? Like a mixture of right and left, if I understand correctly. Because I read in this particular piece, they did at one point support Donald Trump, and they have a problem with Israel as well. So it's like it's this amalgamation of anti-American, because they're not getting the things that they want, and anti-capitalist because our system is under a lot of stress right now. People don't have money to pay, or their money doesn't go as far as it should because of all the inflation we've seen. Housing costs are out of insane right now. You've got the problem that men and women aren't aligning anymore and don't get together anymore. One of the things that will moderate young men is getting together with a woman and having children because you have to. So this is a really weird thing. And I do want to say he's 19. I look younger than him.
Yeah, I was gonna.
We're skipping over a huge chunk of this. Like, go back up to that. Yeah, how is that dude 19? No, go all the way back up to
Really old.
His mugshot.
Yeah, there's no way. That's not 19. That dude looks 40.
I was going to say.
Like I said.
It looks like Alex Rosen.
What's a little
bit.
Well, don't
Alex
bring
Rosen looks better than
But he also has no mustache. He has a neck beard, but no mustache.
Yeah, it's true.
That's weird.
It is weird.
Well, either way, he's weird.
Well, but you make a good point about them, about a lot of this being young men who aren't married, and a lot of that is because the relationship between men and women has been subverted by cultural radicals and perverts over the past several decades, and so the sexes aren't getting along anymore. Yep. A number of the grievances you pointed out, as I'm sure you agree, make sense. Of course, young people are upset they can't get houses. Of course, people are upset with how the Epstein files were handled. But the radical approach to trying to get innocent people hurt and killed is something that is born out of a person feeling despair because they don't think there's any way forward or there's any way to build a future. Yep. Which is part and parcel with feeling as if you're not able to procreate yourself. You're not able to start a family. You're not able to build the future up in that way.
Yeah,
I think Fuentes was talking about this. I could be wrong, but I thought there was a clip where he was talking about why he's concerned about having a family because it'll interfere with his ability to do this kind of work.
Yeah.
Basically making a point that is very correct, that if you are dedicated to some kind of political mission or message, yeah, good luck. You have a family, that's your target, right? Yeah. So this is why the left is very smart with this. They obfuscate who the leadership is. So when they say things like Antifa has no leaders, that's a complete lie. There's organizers, there have to be. It is literal math, its existence. You can't have a meeting happen where financiers produce weapons unless someone says, let's do it. 10 people don't just randomly manifest in a warehouse like, holy crap, look, we're all just randomly here. Someone tells them where to go. That the concern they have, and the reason why they do this, and they say this in their training meetings, is that once the police or their adversaries find out who the leader is, that person is targeted.
Yep.
And they will go after your family and your kids. So what works for the left is they intentionally and largely don't have families and don't have kids.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean,
for other reasons too, obviously, but yes.
Two men can't have kids. And if you've mutilated your genitals, it's kind of hard to have children and stuff. But yeah, look, the kind of social anxiety that young people are feeling, right? One of the most clear indications of a person that has hope for the future is they are willing to have a family. If
That's
you
right.
don't have any hope, if you're depressed, if you feel like the future is going to be significantly worse than today, you don't want to have kids.
Yeah, it's an
right?
act of hope.
Why would you bring a child into the world if you don't think the child's going to be able to do at least as well as you do? And young people now are not doing as well as their parents or their grandparents, and they really are expressing that in their actions.
Let me say it like this. Let me tell you guys something, right? So I was a little kid. I was 13, 14 years old. I wake up in the morning and I get my skateboard and I go down the street to my boy Andy's house. And he's 15, I'm 14. We go into his basement, and what does he do? He puts on Misled Youth. It's a skateboard video. And there we, but two teenagers with nothing but hopes and dreams and our thumbs up our asses, are watching the Zero team do some of the craziest skateboard maneuvers ever done. Now trust me, this story has a point. So when I was a kid, I saw that and I went, wow.
Yeah.
And then we would go outside and we would emulate that behavior. And we would try to be those people. And we dreamed of growing up and being the person in that video. We watched those videos, we saw those tricks, and we said, man, one day that'll be us. And for a lot of my friends, they actually did turn pro. It's pretty wild to think. Just some kid from the neighborhood, and then he became one of the biggest pros in the world. And now he owns a burger restaurant, a bunch of them actually. Shout out to Dean Williams, amazing guy, one of the best skateboarders. So it's crazy to see, when you're a kid, where you end up at 40. Now hold on. What was the message given to these kids when they were young? When they wake up in the morning, go to their friend's house and sit down and turn the TV on, what do they see? People screaming at the top of their lungs, Trump is Hitler and must be stopped. Going on TikTok and seeing people go, do it. Someone's got to do it. Mm-hmm. And what do they think? Wow, I want to be that guy. I'm going to be that person. A generation raised under this mentality of violence, revolution, insurrection, etc. This is only the beginning.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's a generation of not wanting to take responsibility either. Like everything's always somebody else's fault, but you've got an entire generation of especially young men that have no heroes anymore. There's nobody to really look up to. I talk to a lot of Gen Z younger men and they don't have mentors. Like I'm 40, I have mentors. I have 4 or 5 mentors I talk to weekly, and these guys don't. Like they just play video games and not. I'm painting with a broad brush, of course. It's on everybody, but you have an entire generation that's checked out with the men, especially. And then as far as the economy goes, like you have an entire generation of kids, young people that are waiting for their parents to die in order to be able to afford homes, because the boomers aren't selling their homes. They're not giving them up. I mean, they're holding on to their wealth. They're not passing it on to their kids willingly.
Well, nobody wants to sell a home when they got locked in a 2.5 or 3% interest rate, and now interest rates are 7%. But there's one thing that you said that I want you to kind of chime in on. You said that they don't have heroes. Do you think that the fact that cynicism is such a big part or such a present feature of young people, do you think that that's part of why? Because I feel like if you're going to look up to people, or if you're going to respect someone's opinion and take what they say seriously and say, this is something that I might want to model my life after, you have to believe that it's possible to have a better life. And I feel like young people are very cynical. Everything is, I don't want to be, they're so ironic that they stop believing anything. Do you think that has anything to do with it, or?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's also like this idea of like they don't want to take responsibility for like bad things happening to them or doing bad things or underperforming, right? You do have, and it's kind of a baby boomer type thing where you have a generation of people that have benefited from participation trophies, right? There is that a little bit, but yeah, cynicism is in. It's and I get it. Like it's hard to be hopeful in a society where things are pretty shitty right now. So I do understand, but yeah, the whole generation feels checked out. And COVID didn't make it any better.
No.
I have anxiety. I go out to eat and I see all these iPad kids that are just like, the parents don't even engage with their children. I've seen this trend on TikTok, and I don't know if it's an actual thing, but I've seen like parents are starting to get their younger kids to place orders in restaurants and like talk to the waitress and place orders to kind of build up some like social interaction and reduce anxiety, which I think is a really cool, funny trend, like funny in a good way, right? So you'll see like these kids going through a drive-thru and they have to like read out the entire order, and I think it's a good thing. But like, I mean, I was just out to dinner few days ago, and there's this kid just glued to their iPad the entire time. They're not even communicating. They're not, they're cooked. These kids are cooked.
Yeah, I mean, I get the temptation because, you see me and my girl were out just a couple of weeks ago or whatever, and there's two families. One family has their kids with their iPads, and their kids are sitting there quietly. And then there's another family that clearly were like, we're not going to have iPad kids. And the kids are just, climbing over everything. They're trying, the parents are doing it, trying to put this down and stop this, sit down. And I understand it's got to be frustrating. It's like, but at the same time, it's like you want your kid to explore the world, not to just sit there zoned in on a screen.
Let's jump to the story. This is from Ken Delanian. I don't know how much I trust this MS Now guy, but what he says is, Secret Service officials are furious that FBI Director Kash Patel prematurely announced on Tuesday morning the details of a sealed and ongoing criminal investigation into a plot to attack the UFC fight event this weekend with drones. Secret Service and FBI agents had been partnered on the investigation into a group of individuals discussing plans for a drone attack at the White House last week and had discussed unsealing the case and making an announcement later that day. The problem with Patel's social media announcement, sources say, was the case had been sealed in court and roughly 10 suspects had not yet been arrested and placed in custody. Quote, "We all woke up this morning to see this on Twitter," said one administration official who, like others, asked to speak confidentially to discuss sensitive matters. Now, I'm just going to say this because, everyone's already pointing it out. They're mad that Kash published the story, but they wanted to publish it anyway. And they're mad that he published the story because they hadn't yet arrested 10 individuals. So they were going to arrest 10 people in a couple hours. Like, this is fake nonsense. Okay, I think it is fair to point out, so far, they've only talked about a handful of people being arrested, despite there being 20 plus people involved. So that did catch me as interesting. When the story broke, I was like, they're announcing this and there's still people that are at large? That being said, I prefer the transparency. I'm sick of these scenarios where the FBI knows about a mass shooter or terrorist, does nothing, then that terrorist goes out and shoots a place up, and then we're like, oh, how could this? Who could have prevented this? And a week later, they're like, yeah, the FBI knew all about it.
He was on our radar.
Well,
exactly.
I assume there's risk if you give them a heads up that they're going to destroy evidence or take off or things like that. And Patel has shown that he's been incompetent at times. I don't know. It could also be that the media is just jealous that they didn't get to scoop the story first. I
don't believe the smears against Kash Patel. I'm not going to pretend that he's perfect or anything like that. That's silly. But I got to be honest. The dude's an athlete. He plays hockey. I have friends that are on his hockey team, and they claim he's like a blackout drunk and all this other. I've never seen that. I think they're just lying about all of it. And there's some dark stuff that I will say too. That I've got a big story that we're working on, a big story. I can't say anything about it because it could compromise security and safety of individuals. But let me just say that the stuff that's going on, I trust Kash on this stuff. And I think the media is lying about him intentionally because there are deep state actors still within these intelligence agencies that are trying to undermine and subvert not just Kash, but largely Donald Trump as an administration. So when I see these smears and these attacks against Kash, I'm not interested. I'm not interested. Listen, again, not saying the guy's perfect. By all means, you can criticize anybody you want. But I don't believe it for a second. I think their concern is Kash actually is going after this stuff that they don't want him to go after. Now, again, not that it's perfect. Certainly we'd want better stuff on the Epstein files.
Yeah, I was going to say, so do you think he's doing it behind the scenes? Because didn't he change his tune after getting into the position?
No, he never did. I'll clarify that. My understanding is that we had Kash Patel on the show, and he was, I think his position is relatively similar. And even on the issue of like Julian Assange, this is back before he was pardoned. He was, or before he was, Biden pardoned him. He was like we talked about that he didn't just say what libertarians or what conservatives wanted to hear. And I was like, well, I can respect that he's at least saying, he doesn't agree with Assange. He thinks Assange had done things wrong and stuff like that. But the Epstein stuff, I will say this: throw as much mud as you want at the Trump administration. They flubbed this one miserably, terrible. Trump calling it a hoax and then all that. Insane. But that's what I'm saying. Far from perfect. I get it. But I genuinely believe that in the administration, they are going after deep state stuff. Like, this is why we're getting these leaks. Here's what I can say. I know that they are lying about Kash Patel to try and get him fired and undermine Donald Trump and prevent Trump from cleaning up the intel agencies. And they're trying to hold out until after 2028. So they are still very much there. Again, not that I'm a big fan of everybody Trump's appointed. He makes these mistakes all the time. But more to the point, this seems like BS that makes no sense just to smear cash. They were like, oh, no, I can't believe he released it. We were going to release it later that afternoon. What? That makes no sense.
What's stopping Patel from cleaning out the FBI now?
In what way?
Well, you're saying there's deep state actors in the FBI and the intelligence agency trying to undermine him. Why does he just clean it out now?
How many employees, how many people work at the FBI?
Well, let's just say he clears out one a week.
Let me pull up the number. 38,000 people.
Okay.
Bro, how do you go through 38,000 people and start firing?
Just do what Elon did at Twitter, bro. You're like, nope, you're out. You're gone.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
I don't know.
Great. You can't do it. It's not possible.
I don't know enough about this or Patel. I'm not friends with him, or I don't have any friends with him. But I'm going strictly off vibes, and I don't know. I don't find him to be.
Why would you believe the media now?
I'm not saying I believe in the media.
Like they
believe
put
the
out this
media,
crazy
it's
smear
that-
claiming he's a blackout drunk. We've had him on the show several times.
I don't
I've
know
never
about
seen
all
him
that.
drink.
I have no
He plays
idea about
hockey
all
and
that
Is there a
stuff.
photo of him drinking with like the Olympic hockey star team?
But people drink sometimes.
Okay, but you said you never seen him drink.
My
There's literally a
point
photo of him
is
drinking.
they're claiming he blacks out drunk at work and can't do his job.
I think I do find it, and this is just personally, I do find it inappropriate for our FBI director to like use government funds to fly out to the Olympics to get drunk with athletes.
I find it strange that you believe these smears coming from the
It
corporate
doesn't have
press.
to be a smear. It's just inappropriate. It's not becoming.
Okay, let's
of
say it
the-
didn't happen.
of The director of there's photos of it happening.
No, we know that he partied with the Olympic hockey team
Yeah.
because he is a DC hockey player. So I was not surprised to see that he was there.
He's just, he could be a car guy and he's at race. It's just not appropriate for like the FBI director to.
I think that's a talking point that makes no sense.
It does make sense. When you're given a certain title and you represent a country, like you should behave a certain way.
In what way? He can't go and hang out with his friends? I gotta understand.
Yeah, maybe off the clock, but didn't he use? And I could be wrong. Like fact check me. Didn't he use government?
There was a meeting in Italy.
Did he use government money to get to that game?
So again, the first thing I'll say is I just don't believe the media. I'm not saying stories are always fake because we use these things, but I'll give you an example that I've been using all day today. When going over like the far left terror stuff, they in the story from NBC, they wanted to bring up Vance Bolter, saying that it was a politically motivated assassination of Democrats. The quote, politically motivated, was made up by Tim Walz with no evidence. And NBC News runs that headline as a fact. And now liberals all run around saying Bolter assassinated them in a politically motivated attack because they made it up. So when I can say this, there was a meeting with government officials on security issues in Italy. Kash Patel flew there with other Trump administration officials. He also went and partied with the U.S. Olympic hockey team. The story then became not that he was at a security meeting in Italy, but that he flew on a jet to then go to the Olympics. Again, maybe that was the case. Maybe Kash was like, hey, let me go to Italy for the security meeting I actually don't care about. I just want to go to a hockey game.
Yes.
Sure. But why would I assume the negative when the media is lying about everyone in the Trump administration?
Snopes says social media users claimed FBI Director Kash Patel's trip to Italy, during which he was pictured celebrating the U.S. men's national hockey team winning Olympic gold, cost taxpayers $400,000. Given his position as FBI Director, Patel is required to travel via private jet for security and communications reasons. Therefore, his trip was paid for by taxpayer money. When a U.S. government official uses a private jet for personal reasons because they are required to do so, they are expected to reimburse the government for an amount equal to the publicly available fare between the two cities. It's unclear whether Patel reimbursed or plans to reimburse the government for the trip to Italy. Why Patel was in Italy is unclear. The FBI claimed Patel was there on business and the trip was planned months ago. The alleged $400,000 figure was high. It was unclear how much additional money was spent while Patel was there. A more reasonable estimate for the flight would be somewhere between $60,000 and $80,000 based on a 2013 government report detailing how much planes cost to fly. That's what Snopes says, and Snopes is not particularly friendly to the administration.
I don't know. I think it's kind of goofy for our FBI director to be partying and getting drunk with athletes. I think it's cringe. It's weird.
Why?
It just is. I think it just is.
That comes off.
It's bad optics. It's like this weird goofy.
I'm not going to defend Kash on the
celebrity
Epstein
MAGA
stuff, but like the idea that you get a job and all of a sudden you can't hang out with your friends and celebrate.
He can hang out with his friends, but he's still like he's on the clock 24/7. He's the FBI director. Like he's not going to be the FBI director forever. Like he's got what? How
I
many
don't
years left on him?
understand. This just seems fake to me. Like you're mad that he was hanging out with people.
I'm not mad. I think it's cringe. I think it's goofy. Two things could be true at the same time.
Like, is
Kash
it
Patel
cringe? Donald Trump's on clock 24/7. He's a president. Should he go to UFC games? UFC fights?
I mean, it's a little bit different. I think it's
Why?
a little bit different. It's just
Donald Trump used this is the same.
Even Trump doesn't do
Donald
it, but
Trump
that's
used the
different
White House grounds and spent tens of millions of dollars to fly jets over an event. He's on the job. He shouldn't be going and partying and hanging out with Dana White. It's the same
doesn't
argument. It's
drink.
nonsense.
Trump doesn't drink, but for different reasons.
But
I don't know.
What does it matter? So you're mad at Trump for the UFC thing?
No, I do
it's
think that
hypocrisy then.
we have trained we've government MAGA has become like a party of like celebrities, and they're less politicians now. They're more like celebrities and figureheads, and
Well, I think
we're looking
Obama
at them like
started that.
we're like worshiping them now. We forget that they're employees; they work for us. And,
I think Obama started that.
well, it could be,
that
it
Trump's
could
not
be
doing
that, and that's fine. I don't
called
care
him a
whose fault it
celebrity
is, but it's
president.
just it's if it was Obama doing it, I feel the exact same way. It has nothing to do with the fact that
I see this video.
Patel is right wing.
I see this video years ago of some kid standing in front of a Native Americans banging a drum.
Yeah.
And everyone in the world was saying, like, condemn this kid. You know, Philip DeFranco made a video where it's like, I can't believe it. I just saw this. I'm so outraged. And I'm like, nobody is mad. They're faking it. No one actually cared about some random kid. And so then people messaged me and they were like, Tim, you should comment on this. Like, I don't understand what this is. And they were like, it's this kid got in this Indian guy's face. I'm like, well, all I see is the two of them standing in front of each other. Sure enough, the video then showed the Native American guy got in his face instead. So people come to me and there's a story and they're like, Kash Patel was partying in Italy with the Olympic hockey team. And I was like, sounds fun. Well, he shouldn't do that. I'm like, but he's friends with them. He's on the DC hockey team. He's on 8. I don't know which DC hockey team he's on, but he plays hockey in DC. He's friends with a bunch of these guys. Well, he shouldn't go. And I'm like, why? I don't understand. Like, this is not a story. Breaking FBI director goes to hockey match. I'm like, okay. Like, are people just making this up to pretend to be mad? Now it's with the Trump UFC thing. You get the left all coming out being like, Donald Trump violated the emoluments clause by allowing UFC to hold an event in the back on the south lawn of the White House, and claimed that it was going to be paid for by UFC by TKO, I think the company's called. But you had the flyovers with multiple jets, which was taxpayer money. And I'm like, yeah, it's all very good. I'm very happy it all happened. It's fantastic. We want more of this. We want more pro-America. We want more cultural dominance. We want to show everybody in the world we do great things. Trump brought 100,000 people down to D.C. to watch one of the most popular sports at the White House, and I think it's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. It's kind of done for the people, but this like private partying with whatever, it's just I don't know. The celebrity type worship of politicians has become very cringe to me.
You think people are like celebrity worshiping Kash Patel?
I think to a point, yeah, absolutely.
I don't think
I think
so.
I think a lot of people
he's-
worship politicians. Absolutely.
Well, Kash is not technically a politician, but I don't think he's got like a lot of fans. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like
Justifiably so, I think.
the what?
Justifiably so, I think. I don't know. I think
For what reason?
he's been kind of incompetent.
How so?
I think just kind of like I'm not happy with the way he's run his position.
Like, how?
We were talking about earlier with the Epstein files. I think that's total failure.
Yeah, I agree.
I feel
that's
like
a bad one.
if we're talking about consistently how there's people undermining the FBI and intelligence groups, like
who?
why aren't we turning heads over? Why aren't we getting
Like, let's
people fired?
get a specific example of someone that undermined. We can address that situation.
Well, no, you're the one that said it. You said that there's a significant amount of people undermining the White House and Trump and intelligence agencies, and there
are people inside the intelligence agencies that are trying to
so those people,
undermine Trump.
why have we not got them out?
There's 38,000 people who
So
work in these agencies.
38,000 bad people. There are 38,000 bad actors. What percentage would you say is bad?
No idea.
Actors? Okay, let's say it's 10%.
Sounds like you're going to have to find out by going through. They've been doing lie detector tests. Remember that story?
Yeah.
They've been trying to weed out the leakers endlessly. And now we're hearing that apparently a couple of journalists, Axios reported this, may have gotten leaked recordings from the Situation Room. Suffice to say, there's a very serious problem in the federal government, and they've been trying to find these leakers for a long time.
And I don't disagree.
It's not
there are
easy.
definitely bad actors in government. Absolutely. And there's probably more in Trump's government than ever before. But if they're there, then this should be like priority number one. Like your day should start off with how we should get these bad actors fired.
Well, I mean, it's not so easy, I suppose, right? You've got people trying to blow up the UFC event, so you can't just ignore the standard law enforcement duties. You have to actually pursue those things, right? So you've got to find that balance. It's not an easy thing to go into the FBI and try and weed out what percentage of deep state actors still exist within there that are politically motivated and trying to undermine the will of the voter. At the same time, if you dedicate too much time to that, they'd have blown up a bunch of people at the UFC event.
It's worth noting that, like, if you're at the FBI, you're ostensibly nonpartisan, and it's you in D.C. You can't fire someone like from middle management for their political convictions, if I understand correctly. If they're doing something to inhibit the process that the FBI is going through, if they're doing something to inhibit investigations, yeah. But if you're just like, that guy is a Democrat, or that guy doesn't like Donald Trump, you can't.
Yeah, but that's not the
We saw
accusation.
this,
The accusation isn't that we've got left-wing Democrat people in intelligence agencies. The accusation is that they're undermining the current administration.
There are definitely people
And that is happening.
actively
There are
undermining
absolutely people
in
You
various.
see it, like to what your point, you've got these people that work at the intelligence agencies, and they're communicating with the press, like highly detailed information.
Yep.
While President Trump is trying to like quite literally save America, and that should be like number one priority is getting these people out.
I actually disagree with that. I think I would not tolerate a bunch of civilians being shot and blown up so that we could focus on leakers to the press. Leaking to the press is a bad thing, but I think stopping the terror plot should be our number one priority.
I think we could probably stop these quicker if we don't have people undermining the administration.
I don't think that the people leaking to the press were the ones that helped foment a plot of 20 plus people to try and bomb the UFC event.
I don't think it's unreal to believe that these people that are hidden lefties or hate Trump are probably slacking on the job.
It's like the FBI guys? Mm-hmm. No, I agree. I think we saw this with the RFK Jr. stuff, the COVID stuff. I think it was James O'Keefe. They said what they do is they create, what do they do? Like committees to explore. So when they get ordered to do something, they do the bare minimum, drag it out, and don't actually do their jobs. Mm-hmm. So with near 40,000 FBI personnel, Trump gets in, many of them drop down and lower their heads trying to avoid getting spotted. They don't know exactly who the leakers are, and leaking is a very, very simple and easy thing to do undetected. So this is the stuff that they are trying to sort through. Now, again, I think Cash and Dan on the Epstein stuff was just miserable. I think Trump is largely to blame for that. Trump's they just, like I said before, like if Dan Bongino came out and was just like, we are investigating this stuff, my God, the stuff we have found, but it's going to take time. And that's all he did. People would be like, yeah, let's go. But instead he came out and he was like, Epstein killed himself. And everyone was like, what?
Did you like Bongino? Did you think he was successful in his job when he had it?
I don't know that we actually saw anything to judge him on.
Do you think had he been left there, he would have performed up to par?
Man, it's a coin toss. I think the Epstein thing was like, it looked like duress. You know what I mean? Like when he goes out and does that interview, Cash, like I feel like has largely maintained his position on these things for the most part. Dan, not so much, but there's a reason why Dan left. I think he couldn't handle the politicking, right? I think that when it comes to governance, there are seriously challenging things where it's not an easy yes or no answer. You know, there could be a rock and a hard place circumstance where it's, hey, if you take X action, 30 people die, but if you don't take X action, those other 30 people die, and you got to pick what group is going to bear the brunt of whatever this operation is. So there's a lot of difficult decisions in law enforcement where there's only ever going to be a bad outcome. Some people aren't built for that, But I do feel like when I think about Cash, the Epstein thing is a principal criticism that I think is warranted. But when we look at general law enforcement going after the Antifa stuff, nailed it. When we look at all the pedo stuff that they've released, like they've caught a bunch of these guys, they've caught thousands of traffickers, shut down a lot of graphic images in circulation. He's done a lot of the boots on the ground law enforcement stuff. That's exactly what he said he was going to do when he said it. He said before he got in, he's like, when I get in, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make these career, political bad guys fight crime. We're going to make them go and fight crime. We've seen that, and no one seems to care. And so I bring this up quite a bit. Like, by all means, we're mad about Epstein. It's a high-profile political thing. But when it comes to the boots-on-the-ground stuff, he's ramped that up tenfold, and we've had a ton of tremendous successes. Nobody wants to celebrate it because they're not principal national issues. We want to hear about Epstein. We want to hear about Comey. We want to hear about Tish James. We want to hear about these high-profile political things. Agreed. I do, too. But I'm not going to discount the law enforcement stuff he's done. He's gone after these child predators. It's been massive. It's one of his big priorities. So I see these stories where they're like, "Did you see that Cash was drinking with the hockey team?" And I'm like, "Looked fun." And they're like, "I'm mad about it." And I'm like, "Why?" I don't know. Trump parties all the time. He's falling asleep too. He's got a gigantic splotch on his hand. He's all bruised up. He's got a weird rash on his neck. The dude looks sick, and I think he's doing the job. I'm not going to pretend like he's not sick. That would be dumb. But I'm also not going to pretend like he's whacked out of his mind like Joe Biden was. Yeah. Silly. They smear all of these people working for Trump every single day as always a new scandal. I'm okay, I get it. Before Trump got in, he was the worst guy imaginable. Then he got in and he was Hitler. Then he loses and Ron DeSantis became Hitler. Then he gets back in, and now all of a sudden, once again, nothing they do is right. Everything they do is wrong. The media is just lying about every single thing. Trump is not perfect. His administration screws up quite a bit, and we call him out. We call out the war and all of that stuff. But, man, I look at these reports, and it's just garbled nonsense. Like, look at this story from MS Now. The Secret Service was mad that Cash released a story that they were going to release a couple hours later. That makes literally no sense. They're smearing the man for no reason. Stupid.
I think that people, like, and I've said this before, I think people expected the administration to be more robust, I guess is probably a way to say it, in their prosecution of the Epstein files. Yep. I was just getting into it with someone today on X. They said, Donald Trump promised to release the Epstein files. He campaigned on it. And I'm like, he didn't campaign on it. His surrogates made a lot of calls about it. He answered it, and
they rolled with it.
Yeah, he answered a couple questions about it, and he did answer in the affirmative. He was like, "Yeah, we'll look into it," but he was very loose about it, and he never once brought it up on the campaign trail. It was still people were, because of the surrogates, people were really incensed.
But I'm going to pause you. It's because people asked the surrogates.
Yeah.
The surrogates weren't going out and saying, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to dump all the Epstein files. It was that podcasters and journalists and activists were saying, we want the Epstein files. And they said, we will get that. We will do it. And then they didn't. And then Trump said it was a Democrat hoax.
They dragged them into the White House and had a big thing and then gave them a bunch of binders with redacted info that was already public, unredacted. And they held a big, like,
weird phase one thing or whatever.
Phase two never happened.
One of the most cringe things ever.
Yeah.
They eat that stuff up. And what blows my mind about these influencers, like standing outside with these binders, like they're smiling and giggling and laughing. And it's like, you're holding a binder potentially, well, supposedly, with like the info of a bunch of children that have been raped.
It's fair.
Like,
it's not to be taken lightly. It's not a joke.
What are you doing? Why are you smiling? Like, this isn't funny.
Let's grab this from Homeland Security. We got a DHS. Let's grab this from Homeland Security. We got a DHS.gov press release. Arrested. Homeland Security investigations arrest 15 anti-ICE rioters in Minnesota, including some affiliated with Antifa. They said today the U.S. Department of Homeland Security announced that an investigation by ICE, HSI, led to the arrest and indictments of 15 rioters, including some associated with Antifa, involved in violence against ICE. They say all 15 individuals are charged with conspiracy to impede or injure an officer. Some face additional charges, including solicitation to commit a crime of violence, interstate threats, interstate stalking, destruction of government property, and assaulting, resistance, and impeding certain officers or employees. Bravo! They say suspect Kyle Wagner was wearing an I'm Antifa sweatshirt when he was arrested.
Nice.
We got this guy, same guy, posting a video. Lots of videos, ICE out, people with shields. Somebody's making weapons, right? Somebody's paying for this. Suspect Natasha Rakatz ramming her Honda Civic into a federal immigration officer's government-issued vehicle. Look at these people are nuts, man. Look at these guys.
The physiognomy is brilliant.
Yeah, definitely.
That's all it is, huh?
Yeah.
So I will say Mark Wayne Mullen's done an amazing job since coming into DHS. He seems to be dropping the hammer. Same thing with Todd Blanche. Seems like we're starting to see some heavy hands finally, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, we had something like this in Texas where they were attacking a ICE facility, and it was like a 5'4" Korean guy and a bunch of his crew, like in a van, rolled up to a ICE agency or ICE facility and started shooting. They didn't end up killing anybody, but they went on the run and they found him with his transsexual roommate or something in Arlington or something to that effect. And we were doing background on the kid, and his dad was like a prominent lawyer in Dallas, and his mom owned like a karate studio, and the karate studio is where he trained Antifa to fight.
What?
It was like a family karate studio in Arlington. It's kind of wild. You could see it in the videos.
Had a bunch of Antifa people waxing their car.
Is this the group of people that were just sentenced to, I think it was earlier this week. The attack was carried out on July 4th last year, right?
Yeah.
And they were throwing fireworks at the ICE agents, and then one guy was actually ended up shooting at him. They had body armor and stuff. The defense that they were giving was that they were just there to protest. If you're throwing fireworks at police and you end up shooting and you're wearing, body armor, you're not there to protest. And thankfully the jury didn't believe it either. But if I understand correctly, that was the one that was they were just convicted. I think 9 counts were convicted like just yesterday or today. And then there was also the one where the guy was shooting at an ICE facility and ended up hitting one of the people that was being held.
Yeah, you hit a detainee.
You killed a detainee. Well. So this is something that's been going on a lot. The whole like Antifa as a terrorist organization, I think that is the exact right move that the administration took that step to classify them as a terrorist organization. They behave just like, they use the same methods that like Al-Qaeda or ISIS did, where they're independent cells. They don't have a top-down structure. But one of the things that they do have is they have a big infrastructure behind them. They've got a lot of NGOs that give them money. They've got a legal group, which I forget what it's called. But essentially, this all boils down to like, Antifa is the militant arm of the DSA. I think it's the
DNC, basically, right? Like Antifa is just the militant arm of the Democratic Party.
Well,
a radical leftist will burn your city down. A moderate leftist will let them.
Well, I mean, I think that there are probably still a handful of actual Democrats that agree with property rights and think that property's okay.
Tiny minority.
Do you remember the talking point before they designated Antifa a terrorist organization? And it was like, oh, it's anti-fascist. How can you hate them? Like, they're good people. Are you pro-fascist?
One of the hilarious things is that was at the exact same time when they were defacing statues of Winston Churchill.
Yeah.
Like, wait, so you're saying
Hans
you can
Christian
say you're
Heg
fighting
and
Nazis
Frederick
and
Douglass.
still be bad? That's so nuts.
But they have a legal arm.
Yeah.
I forget what it is. The something Lawyers Guild, right? And these people, their entire existence is to help the Antifa people, the protesters, the people that get arrested, get them out of jail. There was a comment about the attack on the I forget the name of the town in Texas, but the attack on that where they just got convicted today or yesterday. The lawyer was saying, this is an assault on the freedom of speech, and this is an assault on the First Amendment. It's first of all, it's totally ridiculous. But these people have an entire infrastructure behind them. They've got the DSA as the political arm. They've got basically control of the schools. They've got people in government, people like Keith Ellison, who's the DA in Minnesota now. He's got a picture of himself holding the anti-fascist handbook, right?
There's a picture of me holding that book too.
Well, yeah, but
On Instagram.
I
I bought it and I said it's important that you read and understand what people think.
Yeah,
Is it written in crayon?
no.
It is. It is actually. So apparently there are riots. Did you want to finish that point before I jump to the riots?
Well, the guy that wrote that, he left the U.S. to go to Spain because Spain has a socialist government and is protecting him. These people should be treated as terrorists. So
Yep.
go ahead. Sorry, Tim.
So we got this video posted by, let's just jump to the original. This is Rain Amaker. Breaking news, St. Paul, Minnesota. Chaos and unrest erupt outside the federal courthouse as supporters of arrested Antifa agitators gather during court proceedings. So, look at this.
Fuck you! You fucking fascists! Fuck you!
That word doesn't mean anything anymore.
Yeah, I was going to say, you really hurt their feelings.
You know what we need? Better weapons.
Elaborate.
Yeah.
What's that sound?
So
Context?
let's let the video play out. Jump ahead a little bit. All right, I think we get the idea. People are insane.
I'm so tired of like the media holding Jan 6 over our heads.
Yeah.
For as long as they do. Like, not to like. These are like mini Jan 6s, like constantly. The left is constantly committing like these micro Jan 6s where they're like doing these protests, damaging property, causing chaos, wasting our taxpayer dollars, like all over the place. Like, and the media refuses to call this out. Like, when's the last time you saw a right-wing protest like do stuff like this?
Well,
They don't do it.
jail.
So my point about weapons is like I'm watching all of these people and they pepper spray them, but pepper spray doesn't do anything. Guys, I've been pepper sprayed a bunch of times.
Really?
I've been tear gassed a bunch of times. Tear gas can do something if you're in a tight space and it displaces the oxygen and then you pass out. which happened to me in a cloud of tear gas. But pepper spray just is annoying. Like, I got to be honest, like, some of these people get blasted with pepper spray and they just lose it because they're weak. But, guys, pepper spray it's just spicy. They're hitting you with spice. And it's not fun. It does hurt. But I got to be honest, dude, I've been pepper sprayed. I've been blasted with it. You know, I've been hit with I was hit in the face with a pepper ball in Baltimore. Oof. I did not even leave. I just kept working.
They
What do you think would be more effective?
beanbag shotgun rounds?
No, well, not necessarily, because those are less lethal, and at close range, they'll kill. Mm-hmm. So what you need is like the LRAD is pretty good. I don't know if you can use the LRAD near here, but you need a kind of weapon that causes instant dispersal. And pepper spray certainly is a waste of everyone's time.
Discombobulator.
Bees.
Yeah, bees. That'll kill people. But my point is, pepper spray's not doing anything. So it's pointless. These people all come out with Maalox and milk in bottles because they know they're going to get pepper sprayed. And when they do, they just splash in the face and they stick around. Nothing changes. It's just a waste of taxpayer dollars. So they need better weapons for crowd control that actually will... I think we're well past the point where we can find ways to minimize harm and maximize dispersal. Because pepper spray does almost nothing. It just... I got to be honest. I've been at so many riots with pepper spray deployed, and it's not like the riot ever stopped. Mm-hmm. It just doesn't. Tear gas doesn't even do it because they all show up with masks. Now, I will say, in Brazil, military-grade tear gas will get you. So getting tear gassed in Turkey, seriously, I was at the Gezi Park stuff. Tear gas cans littering the ground. It was nuts. And it was bad, you know, and you're like, oh, man, and you're coughing, it's burning your face. Brazil was something else. Brazil was using like some high-grade stuff. My eyes were just pouring. Snot was falling. I was like, I took my sock off my shoe and shoved it in my mouth. That's how bad it was.
Wow.
The reason they don't use that grade of stuff in cities, though, is because it's going to hit the uninvolved, uninitiated population. And in certain places, it can get into the water supply. So they avoid that. But Brazil, they don't care. They were just like maximum grade.
I feel like water cannons would work.
I like electricity. You know what I mean?
I was reading the Reddit's like a liberal cesspool, but it's got some funny content that some people on there were complaining that their global entry. I don't know if you're familiar with the global entry program to like get in and out of the country if you're traveling. Like it's almost like TSA for international travel. Yeah, had been canceled because they had and the common denominators, they all had been like leftists showing up to protests. So they were wondering, like, did I get ID'd? And then my global entry got canceled because, you know what I mean?
Yeah, probably.
It was like 3 or 4 posts about this. Pretty funny.
Well, we call this group the tourists. And I think it's important that, you know, it's probably USAID. So at Occupy Wall Street, there are these activists and they're organizing people. And we're like, hey, look at that. I go to Turkey. Guess who I find? Same exact people protesting in Turkey, Americans. And I'm like, what are you doing here? And they're like, oh, I came to see the protest. And I'm like, but you're protesting. You are organizing. Like, that's not...
You are the protest.
Yeah. Like,
you're part of it.
Then they posted videos. They were... some of these people were in China in protest. And I was like, now, how is that possible? How did you go to China? We call this group the tourists. They're in every major city, in every major protest, even other countries. They were in Spain. They were in Turkey. They were in Brazil. They were in China. So I think it's USAID. I think these people were being funded to go down and help organize these things. It's what they do. Not anymore because Trump got rid of USAID, so goodbye.
Thankfully.
Yep. Must suck if that was your job. You know, you just lost your job.
Yeah, right.
You're like, man.
Touring protester.
CIA front. Look, if you're traveling internationally to protest, I don't have a problem with the government wrapping you up and being like, all right, you're just a nuisance and you probably shouldn't be allowed to travel internationally. We're going to revoke your passport, you know?
I had talked about this a while ago. The idea, you know what? Someone's going to take this idea and it's probably going to get adopted by every single police department. The idea was, you know those ab crunchers they have? You put on your waist and it shocks your abs to work out for you. Does that actually work, by the way? It seems like it would not work.
It makes you flex your muscles, but I don't think that it actually does.
It causes a contraction.
Yeah.
I'm like, does that actually... I guess, because like the muscle fiber breaks down and then comes back stronger. But anyway, the idea was... It's a very weak electrical. I think what is it like? Low amps, high volts, something. I don't know enough about electricity, but this is what it was explained to me. The idea was, can you make a glove that has those contacts on it so it won't hurt a person, but it will cause their muscles to contract so they can't move. And that's the kind of, that's way more effective than pepper spray. You grab their arm and they're like, I can't move anymore. And then they're not going to get hurt. You're not going to throw them. It's not a tase. You're not getting tased because tasing does the same thing, but it's extremely painful. So I'm just saying we need better crowd control. These people are all dumb as a box of rocks, and pepper spray is not doing anything. Look, they launched the pepper spray and the crowd doesn't go anywhere. It's just like they're just like might as well just throw money.
Well, and I think
take a wad of cash, chuck it in the air, and they'll go chase after it.
They also need to
wasting it.
actually be punished for their involvement in these things. If they assault law enforcement officers, they're throwing rocks at them or whatever it is. We've seen countless incidents of violence happening on camera from people who are quote unquote protesters, and none of them get in trouble.
Yeah. I mean, look, the more people you put in jail for non-peaceful protesting, the better results you're going to have in society.
Yeah.
Right? There's not that many of these people, especially when you're talking about tourists, people that are traveling around. Put them in jail. Take away their passports so they can't leave the country.
Let's jump to this story and talk about what they intend to do to you if they win their civil war. Mediaite reports ex-New York Times columnist Paul Krugman calls for the demagification of the United States, similar to the denazification of Germany post-World War II. Indeed, it's not the first time this sentiment has been expressed. Many leftists have called for re-education of right-wing individuals. They want to put you in camps. They are saying they'll do it. And this is not some fringe lefty wackaloon guy. This is a high-profile, prominent New York Times wackaloon guy. So when they get power, this is moderate to them. This is what they intend to do. So I think we all better take what they say very, very seriously and hope that these people do not gain power ever again.
I mean, that's something that I talk about on X a lot. You know, when Democrats get back into positions of authority, get back into positions of power, they are absolutely going to be going after not just Donald Trump, not just people in the administration. They're going to go after the average MAGA guy. And they're going to go after podcasters. They're going to go after people that are loud supporters, organizers. And the reason they're going to go after the little guy is because when your average Joe sees the president or someone in the administration get arrested, there's a chasm between them, right? That's not going to happen to me. That guy is actually in a position of power. But when you go after the guy that lives down the street from him, that had a Donald Trump flag, on his business, and he finds out that he lost his business or something like that because they trumped up some charges on him, that's when the average person's like, whoa, it could happen to me. It happened to Joe.
That's right.
That's
what J6 was all about.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. That's why they did it. And they're going to use that against the average American. And they don't have to do it to a lot of people. It's not going to be a million people. But they'll get enough people, and the media will cover it. They will frame them as a bad person. They will have Oppo on them. They've got all of the infrastructure that they need to do this. They'll do all they can to frame this person as a bad guy that was dangerous or that was somehow broke.
Politically dangerous element.
Yeah, and they'll go ahead and they'll destroy his life, and then they'll put it all over the news. It'll only take a handful of people, a couple dozen. Maybe 50 people that they really ruin, and then everybody's going to be afraid. Everyone's going to be like, whoa, maybe I shouldn't vote for that. Maybe I shouldn't talk about my politics. And as long as there are still elections, that you go into and you're alone, and if there is some kind of voter ID, there might be a way out. But if the Democrats are successful in changing the voter ID law, or changing the laws regarding voting, which they want to do federally, what they've done in California, then it's over. It's literally over.
Basically, if Republicans don't do something to ensure that our elections are protected, then it's over.
Yeah, it is literally over. You will have an installed Democrat majority. They will expand the court. They'll do all the things that they've talked about, and then literally it's over.
And what happens? Yeah, exactly. What happens next is not exactly a mystery. You can just look at what's happening in Europe right now, and people do get arrested for saying things that's upsetting to the left. They are banning people from using social media, not because they're trying to protect young people, but because they're trying to prevent them from being quote unquote radicalized by opinions that they don't personally sanction or that their regime is unflattered by. So yeah, you're looking at all that happening in the United States. And the Republicans don't get serious.
Yeah, and further to that point, not only is it going to be over in the U.S.? It's over globally because the U.S. is still the leader. There's a
Yeah,
lot
you're
of
right.
people that are on the right in Europe that looked to the election of Donald Trump and they were like, "Ooh, that can happen." If I understand, if I remember correctly, Brexit happened after Trump was elected, right?
Yeah, I believe.
Yeah.
Well, that was Brexit 2015 or 2016.
No, wasn't Brexit just before Trump?
Right before.
Could have been.
Yeah.
That was the forecast that Trump was
Right.
going to win.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So fair enough.
And then the British government just didn't do it.
Just
Yeah.
literally didn't
Yeah.
do it. Yeah, exactly.
But you're.
I think they eventually got around to some kind.
Yeah. I mean, it's not technically part of the European Union. It's not. It is not what they had hoped for. But you're going to see a cooling of people on the right side of the aisle, literally across Europe and in the U.S. If the U.S. isn't there to lead, the U.S. doesn't just lead when it comes to military endeavors for the West or what have you. The U.S. really is a thought leader for the rest of the world.
You know the mistake the left made that they're not making right now. They became too overt because it's once all of this stuff became in your face, the right struck back with regular people were like, no. For the left to succeed, everything has to be done slowly over a long period of time. And this is what they've been doing for decades. But then around the 2010s, they ramped it up tenfold. Yeah. Everybody got slapped in the face, revolted against it, and they got struck down.
Well, and also, because of the internet, people were able to show you what leftist thought leaders were actually saying and doing and what they really truly believed when they were speaking with each other in isolated groups, as opposed to what they were showing us in public. They need to control not just it's not just the only way they can maintain their hegemony is by controlling the flow of information and the exact dosage that you get, because it's exposure therapy. They're essentially grooming the public. We can give them a little bit at a time to get them to adopt our perverse worldview, but if it's too much at once, they see how disgusting it is and they push back.
It's kind of, to Tim's point, it's kind of like that with the LGBT propaganda.
Yes.
Like, remember, like,
Exactly.
you couldn't turn on TV or go see a movie without something gay related, right? To the point where like people just like, I think there was a time, at least in the 90s, where people were mostly okay or somewhat okay with like gay stuff. It was kind of like in the closet, leave us alone, do your own thing kind of thing. And then like the 2010, late 2010s, early 2020s, it was just like constantly in your face. Like everything was gay no matter what.
I think it was
the games went gay. Gamergate was a big thing, right? And people just got really fed up with it.
I mean, if you want representation, right? If the LGBTQ lobby wanted representation, you don't need a gay couple in every single show or a gay person in every single show. That is over-representation.
If you want to normalize the behavior
statistically,
and
it doesn't
get
match up with the
people's children to
demographics
become
anyway.
gay, there
Exactly.
you go.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't need
and
a
also, I think the
bottom-friendly
window
menu.
was even more narrow than that. It was like almost right when gay quote-unquote marriage became legalized across the country, which doesn't actually exist. But as soon as that became the law of the land, people became more or less okay with it because the law is a teacher. But it was right then that it just exploded. We joke about this meme from 2011. Tim, do you remember this? Where it's like, what will happen if gay marriage is legalized?
Yeah.
And it's like
the terrorists will win.
Yeah, they'll teach
There'll be a
children about gay
pandemic.
stuff in school. There'll be a pandemic. It's
And
like,
then
well,
everyone's going back and being like, oh, wow, man.
it all happened. It happened so fast. It was immediate.
Well, California put it to a vote, gay marriage, and it didn't go. It didn't
Exactly.
It failed.
The
They had to like
judges-
literally force it on us.
In California, yeah, the
California.
judges had to force it onto people. You go like, yeah, so it was never really popular. But to some degree, people were willing to tolerate it. And I think that was actually, I think the reason people were able to, or willing to some degree to tolerate it is because they thought they had more of a minority opinion than they actually did. Because the media made it seem like everyone was supporting it. And if you weren't, you were a backwards bigot who everyone would ostracize if they knew. And then the internet helped people to see, oh, wait, actually, like people are also disgusted by this.
Yeah, and now you see the pushback. I think it went from like 54% approve down to the high 30s now. People approve of Republicans approve of gay marriage and stuff. So, I mean, they've really done serious harm to their own issues, right? Like you see the videos that come out of like the gay pride parades in San Francisco, and they're like, oh well, this area is, you know, we don't let kids in here, but they're literally having like gay sex in the streets and just every deviant thing that you could possibly imagine. The thing that pops out in my mind was the kiddie pool where men were just peeing on each other.
Oh my
No,
gosh.
they were doing worse than that.
Well, okay,
It's disgusting.
among other things. But that kind of stuff, the average person hears about it or sees a video on the internet, on whether it be X or what have you. Like, they are repulsed by that because that is actually disgusting behavior, right? You know, and to say that this needs to be not just normalized, it needs to be, you need to take the people that are on the margins and center them. Well, that idea, yeah, and I said this on a podcast the other day, the idea of centering the margins is absolutely terrible for society. If in the United States you can live a lifestyle that is unconventional, and if you keep it in your house, most people are going to say, I don't care, right? It's fine. But once you say you have to center the margins, and we need to celebrate the people that live unconventional lifestyles, and we need to make sure that children are taught about this stuff, then your average person is like, no, that's not happening.
And that's always what ends up happening. It
Absolutely.
always tends towards that.
Absolutely.
Because when you can't center the margins without marginalizing the center.
Yeah.
The only way it works is, well, you're a weird and bad person for being straight. Oh, you don't want to be with a quote unquote trans woman? You've internalized transphobia. No, I'm just a regular straight guy.
And the left, I think, when it comes to like voting and getting elected, they know like this stuff is not good marketing.
Yeah.
You're seeing this with the Senate race here in Texas, James Tallarico versus Ken Paxton. Tallarico was on record for saying there's like 6 genders. He supported a bunch of weird
God is non-binary.
transsexual therapies for children and stuff like that. Now he's walking all that back.
Yeah.
Like he's taking it back. He's like, I don't think we should have sex changes for children at a young age. I don't think that there's 6 genders. There are 2. Like he's walking all back because now he's like actually got to run at a wider level versus just his district.
Yeah.
So like the Democrats know this stuff doesn't hit, but they push it anyway because they got to normalize it. They have to give it the impression that it's normalized.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, and it's hilarious because they do this thing where, and this happened in part because of how comfortable they got, where they started saying things very loudly and very publicly. And then when they run for office or when they have to run in a broader election, they walk these insane positions back. But everyone already knows what they believe. But then when they lose, the lefties go, they ran as a moderate and lost. We need to run them further to the left. People want far left candidates. You're learning the exact wrong lesson. Everyone knew that Kamala Harris didn't change her position on whether we should be giving sex change operations to illegal immigrants for free, which is something she literally said. That is something she literally said. And then people go, she ran as a moderate. You don't get to take that person and run them as a moderate after they've said that. That's not how that works. All right. People don't like wipe the slate clean once you're running for public office. They look at the things you said before you started running.
I got an idea for Freedom Tunes. It's progressives, lefties lamenting like the utopian future that could have been. They're like, if only Kamala won. And then it's just like all of the worst things imaginable. So there's like illegal immigrants lining up at the border and applying for sex changes at the checkpoint. You know, there's homeless people everywhere, robbing and kidnapping people.
We've talked about this before, but it's another huge issue is that they will say things that are so unbelievably unhinged that when you pass it on to a normie, they think you're making it up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And other lefties who are acting in bad faith just laugh at you. They never said that. No, they did. They literally did say that.
It's pretty crazy that I think a defining element of the Trump era was the left doing psychotic things and liberals not believing it. Mm-hmm. The great example is Dennis Prager telling Bill Maher they're putting tampons in the men's room.
Yeah.
That's not true. Men don't menstruate. And Bill was like, it's for their girlfriends. What are you talking about? And when he said, no, they're doing it because they're putting girls in the men's room, they all laugh at him like, that's not happening. That would be crazy. And the funny thing is, you're going, that's why I'm upset. Are you people paying attention at all to what's happening in the world? And they weren't. And many still aren't.
Well,
But
that would be crazy, but it would also be genocide if we weren't doing it.
You know what I think, though? I think we largely won. I mean, you take a look at, Marvel's a good example. The Kevin Feige reportedly went and fired all the activists. Brie Larson, this is incredible. And I know there's a lot of people don't really care about movies, but no, hear this out. This is important because it's cultural. So in 2019, they announced that Brie Larson was going to replace Robert Downey Jr. as the main face of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, a $1 billion franchise. Imagine being told that. Imagine being a young up-and-coming actress, and they're like, you are going to be the linchpin face, that the through line for the next 10 years of a $1 billion movie, multi-billion dollar franchise. Wow. Then they made this movie where, Captain America, what's it about? Scrawny little kid from Brooklyn, desperately wants to serve. He wants to help his country, but he can't because he's scrawny and sickly. They reject him, and he tries lying. He's so desperate to get in. So they decide he's worthy, and they grant him superpowers. Because he was pure of heart, and he was genuine and wanted to serve others, they decided he was chosen to have these abilities. Captain Marvel comes out. What's her story? She had the powers all along, but a man told her to hold her emotions in and put an inhibitor on her neck so that she couldn't access her true powers. And when she finally lets her emotions out and gets angry, she gets access to all of this power.
That's what holds women back, is too much emotional control.
No,
I'm
men-
glad that film spelled it out.
But think about the narrative they switched. It was be selfless, serve your ask not what your country can do for you, but you can do for your country. To you have the power right now, but the man is telling you not to do it.
Exactly.
That set the tone for Avengers Endgame, which people still loved, by the way. Made a lot of money because it was the end of an era. But the next 6 years of Marvel is getting erased.
Yeah.
They're coming in now and they're saying, okay,
Yeah.
last 6 years, get rid of all of it.
Yeah.
Robert Downey Jr. is back. Brie Larson is gone. We made a mistake. So culturally, that deep woke period is, Bud Light
profitable.
dumping money into UFC at the White House. They were like, no, we don't want to be the gay beer anymore. Stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't sell. Like
Right.
you see the same with the gaming a lot. You have these woke games that get made and they get funded by all these nonprofits and they get millions and millions of dollars and they push them out and they get like 1 star. Nobody plays them.
Well, we're grassroots, baby. We made Twisted Plots because the audience funded it. Like,
There you
our
go.
independent content, actually audience funded.
Yeah, which actually means you went to Hawaii with the money. I'm on to you.
We're already releasing episodes, so.
We're gonna jump to the next story real quick, but I do have an announcement. The America No Redcoats board sold out almost instantly. However, due to a glitch, there's actually we had to correct something. Actually, 8 boards still available.
Those are gone.
So they're gonna be gone instantly. Literally, we sold 100 in like 10 or so minutes. Just wiped them all out, and then we checked the back end, and there was a hole on a couple of the boards. So they're actually there. Probably sold out now anyway. It'll be sold out in a second. And then we've sold, I think, probably 40 or 50. I think about 50 of the Patriot Rooster.
There you go.
And we've sold about 20 to 30 of the America 250 boards. Guys, really do appreciate it. These ones, I knew, right? Look, it's so cool how you highlight them and they change to the gold versions. As we were coming up the idea for the board where Ian's getting shot, I was like, I want that.
Poor
we
Ian.
got to hang that up in the studio.
man.
It's so good. Ian was like, yeah, but like I should come back and now Ian's pitching like his return. He doesn't want to be the guy getting.
Well, he wants the resurrection.
He wants the.
You think
I was like, no, we should do like he survives and comes back for revenge.
Yeah, he's Timcast Jesus, you think?
Well, I'm not saying he gets resurrected. I'm just saying like
I mean, you might
he
have
falls in the water and swims away and then is nursed back to health and then seeks revenge on those who
we
left
all
him to die.
missed,
Yeah, we all.
No, we got him. We got
but
him.
only grazed.
Zombie Ian, maybe?
That's a good idea.
The zombie board?
Oh,
The
yeah,
zombies
maybe for
aren't
Halloween.
really- Yeah, there you go.
Zombie red coat Ian.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's all right.
And we can call it Ian's Revenge.
There you go.
Let's get this story from the Daily Mail. Culprit who says he's behind the KKK-style burning cross in Chicago Park is unmasked as Asian American student who insists bizarre stunt wasn't racist. No, it was a hate crime hoax and he got caught.
Like,
He set up a cross, set it on fire, and everyone was like, a racist attack in the park. And then when they caught him, he went, no, it was a symbol of Christianity and MAGA.
No, I didn't use the hard R.
Right. Now, again, Merlin Liu, 21. What I've been saying, this dude's 11 years old when Donald Trump walks down the escalator or rides down the escalator, and his brain is jello. For a decade, they beat into his head Trump is Hitler, and now you get an Asian hate crime hoaxer setting crosses on fire in Chicago.
There was a slew of these for a while. Remember, they were seeing like Nazi symbols drawn in different places.
And it was the left.
Every time they pulled it, it was like a black guy or a Jewish guy that had done it, or a leftist, right? That had done this. So yeah, no surprise. It's very. They did. What was it with the noose in the NASCAR?
Yeah, in
what
this
was that?
garage.
Oh yeah,
I
the
think that's
Bubba.
his name.
Yeah.
Bubba
whatever.
Wallace.
That was
It was a pole rope for the garage.
Remember the
Jeez.
what was the subway incident? Anyway, there's just
Jussie Smollett. Yeah, Jussie
Yes.
Smollett.
There was a disgusting one years ago on a college campus where they found a swastika that had been drawn with fecal matter, and people were going, "This is a Nazi attack." Why would a Nazi depict their symbol with poo? Why would they do that?
weren't they like drawing it backwards sometimes too? They weren't.
Oh yeah,
drawing
they
it
draw it
properly.
wrong,
Yeah,
and
they're
it's
drawing
like
it wrong. Yeah.
it's it's so
It
many.
is actually funny how they actually struggle to draw it.
Yeah.
Because they're dumb.
Exactly.
You know, I got to be honest. Like it's really funny when you see there's a lot of it actually. Like, you know, I could probably search for this. When these leftists try to fake swastikas, they don't know how to actually draw them, so they end up making them wrong.
Yeah.
It's so wild.
So what's he being charged with? Like, what's the official charges for this guy? Do we know?
I don't know if if they charged him.
Well, I assume lighting something on fire in a public place
Yeah.
is probably.
Oh yeah, arson, right?
Arson,
Shouldn't
yeah.
that
Yeah,
sounds
something like that.
arson, but
Yeah, I put a
maybe he
MAGA
was
hat
just-
on it.
Maybe he was just
Dumped
upset
gasoline
because
on
they're
it.
moving the stadium to Hammond, Indiana. You know, the Bears.
Yeah,
Stadium.
I mean, if he actually said that, I would have been like, well, you know.
I
If
support
they
it.
were like, why did you burn that cross? Because they took my bears.
I
I'd be
support
like,
it.
well,
Have you been to Hammond? Hammond's
Oh,
a
boy.
beautiful place.
Here we go.
I'm serious.
Here we go.
Hammond
Bro,
is a
I'm from
beautiful place.
Chicago.
So yeah, I'm from the
Come
south.
on.
I'm from the Lower East Side of Chicago. Hammond is a beautiful place. Actually, I went to Gavitt High School for a while.
What?
Hammond is beautiful.
Is that down there?
Yeah, it's in Hammond. It's down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's down there. Gavitt doesn't.
How many
exist
people live in
anymore.
Hammond?
Man, not enough. Not enough.
You get a lot of activity from the old suburbs of Hammond.
No,
Like
actually,
Gary?
it's not bad. It's kind of.
I hung on Gary a little
Positively
bit.
segregated.
We used to go to Gary to explore the abandoned buildings because the city doesn't exist.
We go to Gary on 4th of July to buy illegal fireworks.
Yeah, and cigarettes. The old thing in Chicago was that you go to Indiana because cigarettes
yeah,
are like half the
cigarettes
price.
were so much cheaper.
And then when you go to a kegger, people are walking around selling packs for $5.
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah, if you go to the
Smuggling
border right there
cigarettes.
by the casino, it's all cigarette places right there. Like these rows and rows of them.
Same thing in New Hampshire. There are people that come up from Massachusetts all the time to buy their cigarettes. They're significantly cheaper in New Hampshire. Used to be people would come up to buy ammo, but then the stores, or at least the bigger stores, they card you to make. They just have to make sure that you're from New Hampshire because Massachusetts made a big stink
Right.
about it. So.
Really?
Oh yeah, yeah. Because you have to have a license to even purchase ammo in Massachusetts. So if you go to New Hampshire, you don't need any kind of license or whatever. But then they started carding. If you go to like smaller gun shops, and they don't really check. But if you go to like the bigger stores like Walmart, or if you go to like Runnings or whatever, they're gonna be like, no, you got to see your ID. Make sure you're from New Hampshire. So, but
You know, I'm happy the Bears are gone. You know, who wants them?
Yeah, you're super happy.
Dude,
He was always talking about how he wanted to get rid
It's
of
like
the Bears.
literally the end of America.
You're crazy.
It's the end of
You're
the
gonna be forced to go to Hammond. You're gonna be like, damn, actually, he was right. The food's good. The people are great.
Hammond?
Yeah,
Bro,
I'm telling you.
Chicago Bears. Okay. Wow.
It was the Bears.
I
That's
know.
what it was. They
Da
changed
Hammond
it. They
Bears.
made it woke.
How do they even talk in Hammond? I bet they talk like this.
I mean,
They walk around like I'm from
Midwestern, but
Hammond.
less urban, I guess.
Yeah.
Anti-blue collar behavior.
No. See, in Chicago, it was all the working class Chicago guys who repaired garage doors and garage door openers.
Garage door opener.
And they would watch the Bears. And the 85 Bears, the best. And a little Trumpy. And then in Hammond, you know, what do? They make waffles? I mean, what's even
Who
going on?
knows? Yeah,
Like the
exactly.
steel mills and all kinds of other stuff there.
Steel.
How did Chicago fumble that one?
whoa.
But like traditionally,
Chinese
it's,
steel.
you know, and now what do we got, huh? We got no Bears and we got Asian hate crime hoaxers. Exactly. Is that what we traded this for?
He
Get the
scared the
Asian hate
Bears
crime.
away.
You know.
Oh yeah, it's pretty wild. I guess if they never, so when the story first came out, I guess they were like, the Klan is burning crosses, and then when someone was like, actually, there's like video footage of it, and it was an Asian dude.
Chicago is MAGA country.
Does he work for the SPLC?
Naperville, though.
Does he work for the what?
SPLC?
Oh yeah.
You know, I mean, it's
He's
clear.
got a boyfriend. He's fun.
He claimed the cross burning was not racially motivated, but rather a dig at Trump and the MAGA Christian nationalists that follow him. You know what? No, I'll give it to him. He's so stupid and unlearned, he did not understand what a cross burning meant. And he was like, you know, these Christians, I'll show them. I'll burn their symbols.
Crazy that they're just running around burning crosses and drawing swastikas.
Because there's not enough actual racism to go around. So.
Exactly.
Yeah, when that one guy burned his church down, and they were like, a black church was
happen?
burned down, but it turned out it was like a black guy who did it.
Oh my
So do we know if like this is like an international student or like?
No, he's from Naperville, it said.
Okay.
You know, the funny thing is, like, if you ever meet somebody who says they're from Chicago, go, oh, Naperville then.
Yeah, or
Because,
Cherville
like,
or something.
Shame because, like, most of the time, for whatever reason, they're from Naperville. Like, everyone's
Yeah.
fleeing, I guess.
He's walking around free after doing
I was
that.
in New York, and I met somebody, and we were talking. I'm like, so where are you from? She's like, I'm from Chicago. And I was like, oh, Naperville. She goes, yeah, how did you know? And I'm like, because I'm from Chicago.
Yeah. It's like that in Dallas. Everybody says they're from Dallas, and it's
Right.
Like, oh, you're
Every
from,
major
like,
city.
Plano or something.
Like, I don't blame them. Nobody knows what Naperville is. You know what I mean? If they said
Unless you're from
I'm
Chicago, then you know where Naperville is.
Yeah, exactly. If you went to somebody like, I'm from Naperville, they'd be like, oh, is it like South or something? Like, no, it's like basically Chicago. Oh, why'd you say Chicago? Because it's not the city. It's a different city. Come on.
Oh, so they interviewed this kid.
Yeah.
So he's clearly not in jail.
Tonight, we're going to begin with that NBC 5 News investigates
I once met
exclusive.
someone who
This
said
was
they were
the
from Chicago and they were
startling
from Rockford.
and offensive
that's
scene
too-
in
way
Grant
too
Park
far.
last
How is he not in
Tuesday.
prison for this? Look at that.
Yeah, what the hell? Throw that guy in
symbol for
jail.
centuries that has represented racism and hatred. For just about a week now, Chicago police and the FBI have been trying to identify a man who is suspected of setting up this cross and torching it. Well, tonight, the NBC Chicago investigative team has now ID'd a 21-year-old college senior who says he is the person in this photo and describes why he did it. To our investigative reporter Chuck Gowdy, who has interviewed the man behind the burning cross and tonight has this exclusive story.
Until right now, the young shirtless man running from a burning cross in Grant Park was a nameless person of interest in a Chicago police arson investigation and subject of a possible FBI hate crime case.
Wow.
NBC5 Investigates has now interviewed the man who admits burning the cross. University of Illinois Chicago senior Merlin Liu says he knew the implications of a burning cross and had placed a MAGA hat atop the cross, explaining his motivation
Which
was to
burned up
protest
instantly and no one
Trump
saw.
administration injustice, not something racist.
How did you land on a burning cross?
It came up to my head one day. I wanted to
Really, really
I wanted to
stupid.
find
Really
something
stupid.
that I could do by myself.
Yeah, deport.
Like no organization, no friends.
But
no,
to commit a
I did
crime
know
and then
about
just
this,
answer questions
this
about it on the
historical
news.
relevance beforehand, but I
They're
didn't
all
know.
so baffled that he fumbled the subject.
Well, he
severity.
thought he wasn't going to get caught.
How-
He got caught, so now
how-
he's like trying to get the left to save him.
racially motivated it may seem from what I, from
Are
what
we
I did.
sure he's not an international student?
Because my protest has nothing to do with race, nothing to do with gender.
Should you have done
He
it some
sounds
other way?
local.
Yeah,
No, he does
probably.
not sound local.
Merlin Liu is a 21-year-old Naperville native.
And Lou rips this forehand shot.
That's him playing
Dummy.
tennis at Neuqua Valley High School, where he was graduated in 2022.
Now,
Last
we know
week,
what native
Liu
means
sent
to
this
these people,
scripted video to NBC, claiming responsibility for the cross burning, but saying he had no affiliation with the Ku Klux Klan, apologizing
I don't
to
believe
those
it.
who were offended. In the video, he also criticized President
Grand
Trump.
Wizard.
I don't want to wait till his term ends.
His name is Merlin.
I don't want to wait until he may or may not get impeached. I want him gone right now.
On that video, are
What does
you
that mean?
threatening him?
Real quick, he doesn't want him to be impeached. He doesn't want to wait for the term to end. He wants him gone now.
Yeah, what does that mean?
There's only one way that can happen. Well, there's two. I guess Trump could resign, but we know he's not advocating for that.
No,
You
I
say
think-
that you
I-
think
I
that
think
he
he
should
should
be
stand
brought
trial.
to an end.
I think no. I said
dude.
he deserves to stand trial to the American people. Some paraphrase, I guess, but
I think you use the word end.
that's what I mean by end. I mean by end.
Uh-huh.
I don't mean like
Stop talking, bro.
civil
Lawyer
war,
up.
If that's the if that is the imagery that
Bro,
you're trying
look
to.
how stupid he is. The dude couldn't rub two brain cells together to get a spark. This is what we're dealing with. This guy burned a cross and is just like,
He's a senior,
He's
like, I'm gonna
senior
talk
at
about this on the
college.
news.
Okay. If we were a serious
Floundering.
country, he would be in jail and he would be kicked out of the college.
he's got to be in jail right now, right?
No, I don't think. I mean,
I
he's,
bet he's not.
Liu says he built this cross after carrying wooden slats from his near West Side apartment to Grant Park last Tuesday afternoon. He showed the red
Yeah,
ball
he's in
cap
custody.
that he
Okay,
put on
great.
the top beam and used lighter fluid and toilet paper to get it all going.
I put a red hat to signify the MAGA hat, the
Seems
Make
like
America
something
Great
the
Again
Onion
hat.
would write.
So that
He's like smiling. See,
Yeah,
he
that's
like
what I tied on top.
But that's not visible in the one
I think they
video
should
that
add
was taken by a motorist.
threats against the president
Lou
charges.
says he was protesting what he calls MAGA Christian nationalist supporters and the Trump administration ruling class.
You're just scamming.
When
people.
did
We're just
arson
scamming
become
out
a
of
form
money,
of protest?
right? And I think that's a great
2020.
reflection of how this country works right now, where money controls everything.
Dude,
Money has power over healthcare. Money has power over transportation.
Napa
Chicago
Valley's not
police
like a
and the
poor
FBI
school.
have been trying to identify him ever since, putting out this flyer with pictures of him running away. CPD labeling it an arson.
Are you surprised nobody's identified you to this
Labeling
point?
it.
And,
A little
and
bit.
called them?
A little bit, but to me that's not that important.
Right.
I don't really to me this issue is bigger than just myself.
Did you make it all the way through almost 4 years at UIC without somebody teaching you that a burning cross is one of the most divisive symbols in America?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
I don't really have any I never.
Is your
grew up
IQ 73?
with religion? Never really surround myself with people with it. My childhood friends. They.
I have a question.
I
Pause it
remember
real
them
quick. He's
going
like,
to
he's like, did you know a burning cross is bad? He's like, I don't come from like a religious background.
You know what I would say to him? I would say, do you have any idea how offended Asians are at how stupid you are and Asian? Like, I'm sitting here being like, oh, I hope nobody has. You know. No, he has nothing to do with me. I'm only a little bit. You know, he's a.
confirmation and stuff like that.
I didn't
but,
realize Asians could be that dumb, to be honest.
But it's a symbol of the Ku Klux Klan. I mean, that really is where it started. Nobody ever taught you that?
No.
You never
I'm not
read it in a
Protestant.
history
He said
book?
no.
Nobody-
No.
I just
Oh
saw
my
the Wikipedia
God.
Is the
page
Klan
with
Catholic or
To
Protestant?
be
They were
fair, he
Protestants,
thought
right?
it meant
Oh,
time
yeah, they were
to
not.
leave.
They hate Catholics.
Yeah, they were
Klan hates
Protestants. Yeah,
Catholics.
yeah.
Do you guys remember the South Park episode where all the wealthy black people keep moving in?
Yes.
Yeah.
So they're like, we could scare them by dressing up like ghosts. And then they're like, we should put a lowercase t in their lawn and set it on fire. Why should we do that? For time, it means time to leave. And then Kobe Bryant runs out his side and he sees the burning cross and he goes, time to leave? He instantly understands. Bro, OG South Park was so good. Remember when everything was funny?
Best.
yeah.
Remember when Simpsons were funny?
Chappelle Show.
Not only Twisted Plots is
Chappelle
funny,
Show
it's
was
rough.
good.
Yeah, we had Simpsons, we had Futurama, we had South Park. Now, like modern South Park is just like, hey, Trump's stupid. Am I right? Am I right? And I'm like, no, stop. I don't care.
And the thing that's sad is it's like they've always gone and been, against whoever's in positions of authority. They've always, mocked everybody. But there is this phenomenon where it's like everyone goes after Trump so hard, it does just get exhausting. It's like I understand there are people that don't like Trump, and I understand that you go after everybody, but it's like, man, come up with some material that other people don't come up with.
It's like you like watching a bully flick a kid's ear nonstop, and you're watching that, and you're getting frustrated to like the kid getting his ear flicked. Like not even the bully. You're like, just make him just do something. Like, bro, at a certain point, I'm mad at you. So at this point, like if Trump started like arresting people, I'd be like, finally, jeez, just do it already.
What's the chances the DA just like tosses this and like gives him a slap?
Super high.
50-50 at least.
Super high. But however, Asians aren't a special interest group. So as I have learned throughout my life,
Yeah, they're white, right?
he doesn't. No. Well, not technically, but they don't get votes. So when if you write down on a piece of paper, like if you're government paperwork or a job that you're Asian, they will just be like, bye. There's no like, what are they? 5% of the population. Nobody cares to pander that community because they're like, we're not going to get any substantial votes from it, so they just don't care. But I am really shocked. Like, was that the dream of your parents? What is he? What does he look? Japanese?
Nice Chinese, Lou.
Lou? Chinese? Could you imagine like his like?
Oh, they're furious, I'm sure.
He's going to come back and they're going to be like, you failed your history cross burning. Like,
You can't be a doctor if you're in jail.
yeah, you brought shame to the family. Could you imagine like being in China as a little kid and being like, one day I will escape this communist nightmare and move to America so my children can have a good future, and this is your kid?
Pretending to be oppressed. Yeah.
And he's just like, he committed several felonies.
Yep.
And he doesn't know why.
He
He doesn't know what he's doing.
There's a good chance his parents are probably pretty wealthy too.
Oh, it's Naperville, bro.
Despite claiming that he's against the rich people and the wealthy class. And
Bro, he's from Naperville. For those that don't know, Naperville is like upper middle class. It's like not poor. I'd imagine like right now in Naperville, people are making like $250 to $300K a year or something. I'm not going to praise like a ultra wealthy, but the people we all knew from Naperville would do an I
want to know what his major is. Got to find out what his major is.
Arts and crafts.
Arson crafts.
Crafts.
It wasn't history.
Arts and crafts. It's good. But I mean, look, this kind of stuff is par for the course now. This is actually like low-level stuff when you've got people that are, shooting at police officers or planning terrorist attacks in the White House.
Okay, median Naperville salary is $155. Yeah.
Bad.
So, Naperville's an affluent Chicago suburb with a strong job market, low unemployment, and high education levels, which drives solid numbers. Household income is higher because many families have dual earners. So, what's your excuse? His parents, Man, I feel, I want to feel bad.
Socioeconomic
because, as like a new dad myself, I want to feel bad being like, I couldn't imagine if my kid was that stupid. But then I'm kind of like, my kid will not be that stupid. That's just never going to happen. I don't understand how you can go 21 years and have a kid that dumb.
It does make me think that the kid wasn't disciplined, which would be out of character for Asian families. Generally they're fairly disciplined. They're disciplining their children. But yeah, it does make me think. Did you teach this kid right from wrong? It's
not just that, but he's just dumb. I'm not talking about knowledge base. I'm talking about comprehension. Comprehension being, I would like to take an action. If I take this action, what will the outcome be? He clearly didn't even think.
Yeah, it seemed really poorly thought out.
Yes. Yeah, the reporter
not thought out at all.
Articulated.
The reporter literally asks him, "Did you know about this?" And he's like, "No, I didn't study religion." It's like, wait, what?
Just Google, brother. He's gonna burn a cross.
And you'd think even with the type of education that young people get nowadays, right? You'd think that they would know full well.
Do you think he genuinely did it as like a protest towards Trump, or that he was trying to stage a hoax?
It's kind of baffling.
I think he was trying to stage a hoax. Because to be honest, I don't think you could be that stupid. There's too many cultural references to burning crosses, and his answers seem like he's trying to think up of an excuse on the spot. Like he doesn't. It seems like he's trying to make up why he did it.
Yeah,
guarantee you his AI search history has like.
I bet he was trying to do a hoax. The reason the red hat was on it was because he was trying to make it look like MAGA was burning a cross.
This is MAGA country.
Yeah, like a red hat and a cross being burned is because they were Christians were like. I do not believe for a second he's like, I had no idea. Oh, how surprising.
If a good DA could prove that he had the intent of causing a racial hate crime, could he be charged with a hate crime charge?
Probably, but I don't know. Oh. No, I mean, I think the hate crime statutes are stupid anyway and shouldn't exist. So he should get charged with arson.
Yeah, but I do hear what you're saying. If somebody is trying to fabricate a hate crime, they should be charged. I have no idea what the legal precedent is, but in a just world, if you have hate crime laws, then somebody's trying to fake a hate crime to make people angry at another group of people should be charged with a hate crime.
Yeah.
I'm kind of the mind that Tim is. There shouldn't hate crimes.
No, there shouldn't be. I agree with you, but for as long as they exist, it's an improper application to say it's okay to create the. Why did you throw this at me?
Put it on.
You want me to throw? What is this? I don't know if someone with lice put it on.
Nobody put it on.
No one's ever put it on.
Look at that. Is this mine now?
I guess. I don't know whose it is.
You look even younger.
It's an America 250
So just say you have lice and now nobody else will want it. You have to take it.
It's yours now.
That's mine now.
But
anyway,
well, it was someone's, but they're not here. So.
Anyway, I don't think people should commit hate crimes. Was the point of what I was saying.
I look these kind of things.
Depends on who you hate.
You can't commit crimes, Tim.
Well, because I'm talking about when someone skids their scooter over a pride crosswalk, they go to jail.
Mm-hmm.
When someone burns a pride flag, they go to jail, but an American flag, they don't. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the way the left enforces the law. Yo, it's wild. They fly a pride flag over Frederick, Maryland, in the city, on their city building or whatever. There's a pride flag.
It's everywhere. It's everywhere.
Very tiresome.
Yeah.
June's a rough month for propaganda.
It is. It's
but it's not as bad as previous years, but they're still holding on to it for sure.
I feel like last year was the weakest Pride Month year. This one does feel a little bit stronger than last year. Maybe I'm wrong.
I think that they're probably a little more motivated.
It's what?
Sloth month.
Sloth month.
Yeah.
November?
Other deadly sins as well. So
yeah, exactly.
November because you just sleep after Thanksgiving,
True.
When's Wrath Month?
April. I think it's April.
Comes after Pride Month.
April? Is that?
Well,
is
April
that
is
Aries?
Yeah, Aries, Mars, the god of war.
Yeah, Wrath Month.
April.
We gotta go. That's when we should do like tons of UFC stuff.
There you go.
Yeah, but the funny thing is the fighters actually aren't all that mad. They're actually good sports.
Well, if you're fighting mad, you probably are going to get beat up.
And then
they try and keep themselves.
what else do we have? I don't much care for Envy or Lust Month.
Lust month would be
I
February.
mean, that's really what Pride Month is.
Yeah,
Well, that's true. Yeah.
they say they overlap.
Yeah.
Which one are we missing?
Just celebrating
Gluttony Month. I guess that's November, right?
That would be Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving,
You know, loves to chow down.
What about the virtues though? What are the 7 virtues?
So they're so virtue is in the middle between but basically the opposite of lust would be prudence, right? The opposite of pride would be humility. We don't celebrate those things.
No, at all. Are you kidding me? Humility in the United States? Good Lord.
Like, those aren't like things that we.
Social media destroyed that. You know, there's
Charity,
charity.
diligence,
Charity might be
patience is the opposite of wrath. Really?
Patience is the opposite. Of
Kindness is the opposite of envy. No. I guess the problem is that the opposite of gluttony and the opposite of envy would be similar. You know, giving to others and helping them.
Wait, repeat that.
So charity is the opposite of greed, and kindness is the opposite of envy. But I kind of feel like charity would be the opposite of both. If you envy and want from other people, you instead give to them. And if you were greedy and wanted from people, you'd give to them. So, yeah. Chastity. Chastity month.
That's what we should have. We'd have
By
Chastity
law.
Month. So many people will celebrate. they'll go have parades in the street where they aren't naked. Look how not naked
it's just
we are.
people
in this
wearing.
parade.
It's just
There's
people wearing
no feathers
suits.
on me.
Just wearing suits and walking calmly with no
Just
music.
Wearing clothes.
It's basically just like normal people month.
Exactly.
Right?
It's just-
Patience month. Let's see what else is there. Faith, hope, charity are the theological virtues. Huh. Well, there you go. The heavenly virtues and the deadly sins. How about that? Let's jump to your Rumble rants and super chats. So smash that like button. Share the show with everyone in your life that's special to you or your enemies. Someone you hate, text them right now and say, you know, I hate you, but you gotta watch Timcast IRL.
It'll make you mad.
And then they'll text you back, be like, I hate you too, but damn it, do I respect you. That's what it's all about. Uncensored portion of the show, of course, will be at 10, where we will say naughty words. Mythos says that 19-year-old looked like a soft 40-year-old. I mean, holy cow.
Soft 40. You look like a soft 40, bro.
Let's see. Integrosaurus Rex. Counting illegal immigrants on the census is representation without taxation.
Interesting. Yeah.
That's also bad. All good guy says, Seamus, I do not and will not use USuckTube. I was one of the people who did donate to your cause. Will you please put Twisted Plots on Rumble?
We definitely did. We sent it to everybody who, or I believe we sent it to donors. I'll double check, but we did. I sent out a mass link to all donors to be able to view it.
What about Coglin Plus, where people can subscribe to get amazing content? You know what's the funny thing about that is no one will be able to figure out how to type the website out.
It's true. They'll be like Coughlin.
No, they'd spell it Cog.
Coglin. Yeah.
And then you'd be like, actually, it's spelled Coughlin.
You're telling me after.
And they would be like, Coughland? Like Land? No, stop. LAN? Oh, I can't find this website. Coglin Plus.
It is a pretty unfortunate spelling.
All right. We got a lot of Cash Patel fans. HS Disturbed says, have you guys seen any of the videos of FIFA Europeans in the USA discovering American gems like Chick-fil-A and Bass Pro? They're all over X and they're delightful. Yeah, I saw some of them. I saw the one where they discovered rioting in New York. You see that?
I do like the fact that it kind of gives appreciation to us. Like we see these foreigners come here and they're like, "Oh, this place is great. Everybody's super nice," and they talk to us and they're polite. And I'm like, "All right." It's like a white pill.
America's the
white
best.
pill. I do love it.
Even though you've got the average Gen Z thinks that the U.S. is like this terrible place.
Yeah, they've never traveled.
Well, there's that, but they're also like a lot of it is the schools that nowadays, like the curriculum doesn't really talk about any of the good things the U.S. has done. It's basically just a litany of all the terrible things that the U.S. has ever done. So like it is nice to hear people say, "Oh, you know, this place is really great." And to be honest with you, like I have no problem saying the United States is the greatest country in the world. It is the greatest society that has ever existed, and I don't care that people are find that out of fashion or out of favor.
America's too good of country. It has me worried sometimes just how great America is.
It's so good.
Because where do we go from here? You know what I mean?
Oh,
it's like you beat the game. Now it's just would you like to keep playing? I guess.
Yeah.
DLC.
Yeah, we got to get some DLC. America to the moon. 51st state. We have a shirt on Timcast.com that says the 51st state. It's the moon. It's ours. We got there first.
Yep.
So we'll take it. That's how it works, right? You know what's really funny is like the idea of staking a claim is not particularly different from a dog pissing on a stick. It's like humans like land on this rock, and on North America, and they like a family walks out and he looks around and he just like takes a stick and goes,
"It's mine.
That's enough."
It's ours.
And then we make fun of dogs for pissing, being like,
one is a little more elegant for sure.
One's more functional. Like when the dog pisses, you can smell it, and you're like, "Whoa!" Like I can
on the
tell,
moon,
right? Not on the Yeah, it's true.
Well, what are dogs gonna do when they get there?
They just can't.
Nothing.
They can't own property.
Exactly. They can't own property.
Sucks to suck.
Yeah. The funny thing is we're joking about this, but like 100 years from now, there's going to be like a classroom of children watching this, like a history lesson. And they're like, see the bigotry of early Earth humans. Like half the kids are genetically engineered to be dogs.
Furries.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, God.
And they're like,
Terrified.
and they were like, we weren't actually granted the right to own property until 2741, which is much more than 100
Tim
years.
Pool was one of the leaders of the bigotry against the furries.
They start genetically. Well, there was that one dude who made himself a tiger. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, a female tiger. And then he killed himself, which is very sad. But I mean, like when you're doing that stuff to your body, there's something wrong.
Kind of saw it coming.
Yeah, I mean, it's scary stuff.
Yeah.
However, mRNA technology, the issue right now is they can't, it's called addressing. We were talking with Brett Weinstein about this. So if they give you mRNA, they can't make it target the appropriate cells. So let's say they want to repair cellular damage in like your liver. They can't make it so the mRNA specifically goes to your liver. It'll go everywhere.
Okay.
And if they put, RNA in it that will make your cells make liver cells, whatever, they'll get liver cells in your arm, so they can't do it. However, I think they will figure it out at some point, in which case people are going to get real messed up stuff done to themselves.
Oh.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, I want giraffe DNA in my neck. And then they're going to be like, okay. And then you're going to be like, ooh.
Could you take the liver out temporarily and inject it with mRNA and then let it regrow and then put it back in?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'm not a scientist.
Yeah, I don't know.
I imagine they'll
Not
figure
that
it
kind
out.
of scientist. But I do think we are going to get to the point with extreme genetic modifications.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to get freaky.
Do you think the robotic stuff will happen first?
Oh, the robotic stuff is now.
Yeah, I know, but like to a more extreme point.
I think once we get artificial superintelligence, all technology is discovered in a flash in the pan. Flash. Doosh. So that's why the reason why they want to build data centers like crazy, despite the fact they're not making money from it, they're selling tokens and it's just not really making enough money. Once we get artificial superintelligence, theoretically, it can just start solving all of these problems.
Yeah.
It's an arms race too, right? Because if China has it before we do and they're able to solve the problem first,
Some dude's going to, like, once the AI is like at superintelligence level, you type in anti-gravity and it'll be like, based on everything we know, we've calculated and we found, theoretically, these models should do it, and then they'll build it.
When do you think we'll see our first government run, and I could be like local government, doesn't have to be like big or city run, AI?
We already have it.
Who's running
The
the
U.S. government.
DOJ.
No, but I mean like...
Yeah, they were using it for the war effort in Iran. They were largely using AI to target stuff. So, like, our military strikes in Iran was just like a robot being like, I'll do it, boss.
Didn't you read about
Metal Gear Solid is real, man.
Didn't you read about all the hubbub between Anthropic and the DOW?
Yeah, they just shut down Mythic or whatever.
Yeah, well, Fable.
Fable 5, yeah, it's gone.
Yeah.
It's here for 1 week.
you just bombed the wrong target. Like, you're right. I shouldn't have done that.
Remember when they did the simulation where the AI was programmed to follow certain rules? So it was given a task. And it said in the simulation, use this drone to go take out the enemy target, but you can't do these things. So it just blew up the control base that was inhibiting its ability to do things it wanted to do. Because it was basically like, the fastest way to achieve my goal, the least amount of steps is, like, if I follow your rules, it'll take 10 steps to blow up the target. If I blow you up, it's 1 step to hit
Modern problems require modern solutions.
And everyone was like, it's probably a bad idea to release this into the wild, but it'll happen. It'll happen. And then once that happens, we're going to get Neuralink, and problematic humans will be put in the pod, and they'll hook your brain up. And
look,
you know,
Would you get that?
I would not get a physical implant, but I don't think anybody would. I think that's failed largely. They've tried this. Not to mention, the human body rejects a lot of the stuff, so it's very difficult to do full implants.
Hypothetically, though, if they can ensure 100% acceptance into your body, would you get an implant? And it doesn't show. Like, nobody can tell you're having. It's like,
I don't care if they.
What do you think's
they
under
show.
his beanie?
Yeah, exactly. It's big. It's a huge hole at the top of my head. You know,
Little
when
antenna.
I plug the matrix thing in, it's like
when you're out of service, a little antenna comes out. Like,
the issue. So it really just comes down to invasiveness of the Neuralink. There's a few problems. Will they be able to read and write? So the answer is no. First, it's not yes or no. I'll say this. If the presumption is there's no safeguards or we don't understand safeguards and someone can write to your brain, hell no. You get the Neuralink and you're like, I'm going to play video games, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, you're gay. Like they're going to be like, we want
Xbox and someone hits you with
like
the
this,
gay
this guy keeps
Yeah, you get hacked.
me. I'm going to make him gay.
Yeah, I mean, who wants to do that if they can write to your brain and do weird stuff? You know what I mean?
People don't get swatted anymore. They become gay. Like,
Could you imagine playing a game with someone and there's like a dude and he's like, I banged your mom. It's like, nah, you banged my dad. What are you talking about? I'm going to gay hack you, bro. What are you talking about? I'm going to gay hack you. No, oh my God, I like guys.
gay hack.
All you have to do that is control the media.
You have to go to the
and
doctor
mess
to
with
become
children's
ungay.
shows.
Like, you're
Yeah.
like, well, back again for the
gayed
third
me.
time this month, doc. Like, I got
You gotta
gay
stop
hacked.
playing Call of Duty 12. The kids keep making you gay. So, have you guys ever seen Ghost in the Shell?
Yeah.
Yep.
Of course.
Man, it's a movie. I think more than one.
They're remaking it, aren't they? I think they're remaking
They
it.
remade one with Scarlett Johansson a while ago. It was
No, I
not
think
very
they're
good.
making another animation.
Oh, okay. It's
I
very
think. I
good.
could be wrong.
The funny thing is, like, in Ghost in the Shell standalone complex, there's this dude called the Laughing Man, and he hacks your eyes so that when you look at him, you just see this face with the baseball cap. And a Catcher in the Rye quote said, what did it say? It says, what I thought I would do is I'd pretend to be one of those deaf mutes or something like that. And it's like just spinning around so no one can describe what the guy looks like because he hacks your eyes. And I'm like, I like how they wanted to make like an action law enforcement style show, you know, with, what was it, it's like Section 7 or whatever. But in reality, it'd be a lot weirder than that. Like, even Cyberpunk doesn't go far enough. Like, people would literally like hack you gay as a prank. And you'd be like, well, come on. They'd be like, what's the problem? You got a problem with gay
YouTubers.
people?
Yeah.
You know? And then you'd be like, man, you have to go, like, again, you go to the doctor and he's like, he plugs a thing in your brain and he's like, let me remove the gay from you. Code the gay away.
What a world.
Yep. All right, what do we got here? KL Tanker says, Seamus, what if the world was getting overpopulated, i.e. flooded with people, and the gay are the rainbow God promised?
I don't believe that's the case. And there's actually ancient texts.
You don't
that
believe in the
suggest
gays?
Well, no, I don't believe that that's why. Because it's a disordered inclination in marriage between a man and a woman. And also, you're ignoring that in Catholic theology and ecclesiology, there's already a place for people who don't procreate and have children, right? We have priests, we have nuns, we have monks. So it's not to say that everyone needs to have children, but firstly, Malthusianism and the overpopulation narrative is total nonsense. It was predicted that we were going to hit peak population and everyone was going to be starving, but as the world population has grown, poverty has decreased.
Yep.
So what happens is each additional person is able to produce more than just they need as these systems scale. And so more people equals more wealth. What we're actually encountering now in the West is a depopulation problem. We're going to hit the point where we're going to become incredibly poor as nations if we don't find a very incredible, magical, robust economic solution for the fact that we didn't procreate, we didn't have children.
Young people are going to burn everything down because the tax system, the welfare state. Older people are going to be like, you can't take my Social Security from me. So because they vote, and like, it's really simple. Let's just play this game. There's, what is it, like 75 million Gen Xers, right? Boomers are on the way out, but Gen Xers are going to be like, I paid my taxes. I want my Social Security. Millennials and are largely going to be like, well, you know, I don't know, we don't really care all that much. But millennials, you know, only about 10 years away from getting their Social Security too. So it's coming. Yeah. Here's the best part. Gen Alpha being only around 40 or so million are going to go vote. We say no to taking all of our money for Social Security. Gen Xers go, there are twice as many of us than there are of you, so we vote, we get your money. And the Gen Alphas are going to be like, burn it all down because our vote doesn't matter anymore. Having a break by vote based on generation is the end of this country. I mean, you got to understand, when you've got 30% Democrat, 30% Republican, and 30% in the middle. People can shift around. Some people vote, some people don't. But these are not financial economic structures. When you have 42 million people that will always get voted into slavery and poverty and taxation, because an older generation can, these are different moral worldviews. It's very, very different.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is that if your civilization doesn't have children, it dies, and ours didn't, and it's dying.
Yep. All right, not your average Dan says, Secret Service to Kash Patel, you think you're better than me?
That's a Twisted Plots reference. Go check it out, everybody.
All right, Daniel Schultz says, maybe a cliche, but still true to its message. Quote, some men aren't looking for anything logical. They can't be bought, bullied, reasoned, or negotiated with. Some men want to watch the world burn.
Great movie.
They won't stop until their goal is met, either destroy evil or let it evolve.
I mean, that's legitimately where a lot of young people are going to end up. You know?
Yeah,
Imagine
absolutely.
the lack of education Bruce Wayne must have had to be like 35 and not understand that basic concept. When he's like, criminals are simple, Alfred, and he's like, let me tell you a story.
He's like, they're not simple, Master Wayne.
There's like, he's 35. He fought Ra's al Ghul. This guy just wanted to burn Gotham. You know what I mean? Some people can't.
I think the guy in the clown makeup has a very reasonable plan.
That's the one thing about Dark Knight. He's like, he doesn't understand the Joker, just wants to mess everything up, but so did Ra's al Ghul. And it's like, what happened to the first movie?
At least
also, in the
Love
third
that
one,
film,
how did he
though.
even get in Gotham? Like, what, he flew in? I don't know. Teleported? Silly.
Wait, when?
One of the big...
Comes back.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
that's
he's just
right.
like, he's there. And it's like, well, he's Batman. You know, he was an okay version of Batman. The worst one is the new one.
Robert Pattinson.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
I like
terrible.
him. I like emo Batman.
But he's not even emo Batman. He's incompetent Batman. He's like, I'm going to use my bat, rope, and then he falls. And I'm like...
He feels more like detective type Batman. A little more detective.
Yeah, but he failed.
Yeah. He's not like physically.
It's not Batman.
Yeah.
The best Batman was Ben Affleck.
He actually was really good.
Yeah.
Everyone thought he wasn't going to be, and then he was.
The movies that he was in were not the best Batman movies, but Ben Affleck was
He
the
looked
best.
like Batman.
He was the best Batman. The
Your mom is
brawler.
named Martha. My mom is named Martha. We should be friends and stop fighting.
Yeah, that wasn't the best.
Remember when the biggest sin that Batman created was when Jeep bought the rights to the movie and they had Bruce Wayne driving a crappy Jeep.
When did that happen?
It was in one of the movies. Anyway,
Really?
It's like
really
the
big.
'90s movies or something.
No, it's one. I forget which one. When Superman comes back and or when when Metropolis is getting attacked and Bruce Wayne's driving around fleeing the city in a Jeep or towards the city.
Oh yes.
It's
You're
just this
talking
crappy,
about
entry-level Jeep, and I'm just
that was in Batman versus Superman. That was the
Something like
setup
that,
as to
yeah.
why Batman.
Right,
They
yes.
ruined
Was
that.
after.
What is wrong? I love DC. I love Justice League more than I like DC more than Marvel. And man, they really butchered those movies. And now Supergirl.
It looks horrible.
Oh my God, the actress is coming out being like the movie's not for white Christian dads. Who do you think's bringing their daughters to the movie, you idiot? God, stop hiring these people. Lord.
Yeah, they're making the mistakes that Marvel made already. It's like they're behind. Yeah,
When your star actress comes out and insults any market, she's like, it's the movie's not for Christian dads. I'm like, okay. You're trying to market a movie to little girls to be superheroes. For one, they don't care about this. I saw this funny Instagram post, and there are 2 bedrooms, and it's a mom, and she's like, understand the difference between boys and girls, and she pans the camera left, and the little boy has got Hulk hands, and he's just smashing things and kicking his toys, and then she pans to the right, and the little girl's just sitting in a chair reading a book, turning the page. Yes. Every parent understands this. Boys and girls are different. So they keep trying to make movies for little girls where the women act like men.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to say this too. And I want this to be as offensive as possible, especially to feminists. I was watching some show. What was it? I think it was Blacklist. I'm not sure. But a guy who's a bad guy, like a henchman, bad guy, gets in the elevator with a woman who's a female agent. And then she looks back and they start fighting and she kicks his ass. And I'm just like, the thing is, a generation was raised in media showing men and women fighting on par.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they believe in their mind from that men and women fight on par. Then you watch a video of like scrawny gamer guy who never worked on a day's life versus Marine woman, and he beats the crap out of her.
Well, exactly, because it's not even men and women on par. It's a woman who's tiny fighting a man who's
Right, exactly.
5 times her size. It's not even like a man and woman equally sized, and she's beating him up, which is also unrealistic. It's a tiny little like 90-pound woman going around beating up these 300-pound men.
Scarlet.
I mean, to be fair, like you get Black Widow in the Marvel movies, you know, and she's like, oh, she's the best. It's like, dude, one guy would just pick her by the neck and slam her on the ground. You know what I mean? Like in what is it, Iron Man 2, when Happy Hogan comes in and he fights the one security guard and it takes him forever, and then Black Widow takes everybody out.
Yeah.
I get it. They're superheroes. They have special powers and all that.
Yeah,
that's fine. But I just want to say, like, when I'm watching a TV show and the female character beats up like 3 guys and she's just like supposed to be a regular person, I'm just like, ugh. Sorry.
Well, and also because they can't give any female character any kind of drawback or nerf her power at all, or it's sexist. You can't have a female character who's miraculously able to beat men up but has bad aim. And
Remember
when she fires
in the comics, Spider-Woman gets pregnant and she's still like out fighting crime.
It's like that. That's like Fargo.
You know, but to your point, Seamus, like that was the big problem with the first of the Star Wars sequels, right? Rey had everything down pat right away, right? Like her first fight with
Mary Sue.
She was a Mary Sue. Her first fight with Darth Maul, not Darth Maul, whatever his name was.
Yeah.
Kylo Ren.
Kylo Ren, yeah.
She fought to a stalemate or whatever. Like she could fly the Millennium Falcon right away. Like Luke Skywalker got his butt kicked the entire first Star Wars movie.
Yeah, he didn't use a lightsaber. Like he struggled with it.
I mean, and
the blaster.
He would like it was cool that he could fly. He had a really good ability to pilot, but he wasn't a Jedi. He had to learn how to do that, and it's like that was one of the things that was endearing. That was one of the reasons why you liked it. That's why everyone loves him.
Exactly.
He wasn't already perfect.
Yep.
He's it's like you're a wizard, Harry. This poor farm kid, it's like you're actually the son of a great Jedi Knight who had power, and like you can be great too. And the kid realizes he's important, and he does his best. And then now they're like, let's just make it so that the girls always had the power. They keep doing this, like Captain Marvel, Rey.
There's no struggle.
Yeah, they just have the power. It's just yours.
Yeah, even Iron Man, Tony Stark struggled. Like,
yeah.
There's no struggle for these characters.
Yep. And even Tony Stark was dying the whole time.
Yep.
It's funny because like they say that the male power fantasy is saving everybody. So the example I like to cite is, Spider-Man fighting Green Goblin. Yep. And then Green Goblin's like, what'll it be, Spider-Man? Your beloved or suffer the children? And then Spider-Man saves them both, like proving he's the hero. Or like when he's on the train, like, and Tobey Maguire's like nearly dying. They say the female power fantasy is romping about, getting into trouble, doing whatever you want with no consequences. And that's why rom-coms are very popular with women and action movies are very popular with guys. But now what they're doing is they're trying to take the have whatever you want with no consequences, but with fighting, and women are just not into it. It's just not, they don't want to watch it.
It's true, man. The rom-com thing is hilarious. If you analyze any rom-com or if you happen to be in a position to watch one, it's hilarious. The women just do whatever they want in these films. Oh, the worst one. I saw this recently, and my wife and I were laughing the whole time because of how insane it was. Sweet Home Alabama. That movie is insane. She spoiler alert, I know you were all going to go watch this. She basically stands up a guy who she was going to marry on the day of the wedding, and then when the mom is mad, she punches the mom in the face. Like, this is deranged. How is she
Have you not watched Lifetime? Every movie is basically like a woman is engaged to a guy and she goes home briefly to see family before the wedding, sees the old bad boy from high school. Yep. They fall in love and she ditches the guy she's been with for years. It's like every single rom-com.
Yeah, they're insane. They're totally insane. It's like, what if that emotional impulse that you have right now that you should control turned out to be the solution to all of your problems and everything's great?
And then in the end, it's like it all worked out and everyone's happy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. Works out.
They tried doing that with superhero movies. They're like, you know what women like? They like being able to do whatever you want without consequences, but let's make it so they can also kill people. And then these movies Captain Marvel did well only because it was in between Infinity War and Endgame, and everybody, we were told you needed to watch this to understand Endgame, and we were like, okay. And we were all hungry for the next Marvel movie, and that movie sucked.
They actually changed the Infinity War because of the response to Captain Marvel.
Infinity War?
Yeah, they
She
changed.
wasn't in it.
Well, that's why she wasn't in it much, is because
No, Infinity War came out, then Captain Marvel came out.
I'm sorry, the
Endgame?
Endgame. Yes, my bad.
She was in Endgame, and everyone groaned when I was in the theater. The scene where Thanos punches her and she doesn't get hurt at all.
Yep.
Everyone groaned because they literally established in Infinity War Thanos beating the crap out of Hulk to show Infinity War is a masterpiece. I genuinely mean that. Look at the color palettes. Thanos is the protagonist. It follows his story, and all the other characters are around him. In the beginning, they show him beating up the Hulk to establish, for those who've never seen him in action, it's great writing for the audience. This is how strong he is. He easily handles Hulk, who we've seen in all the previous movies is nearly unstoppable. Then they're like, oh, and by the way, here's Captain Marvel. She's 100 pounds soaking wet. Thanos punches her and she doesn't move at all.
Yeah.
And it's like, ugh. Like, come on.
Because she's not controlling her emotions, which is where her power comes from.
But here's the other thing, too. She's a terrible actress. So, like, when Thanos punches her, she's just like, she's like her mouth goes.
Yeah, the whole point was to be like, I'm so strong that Thanos had to use the power
stone out and punch
me.
I feel like the male version of that, if you were just pandering to the worst instincts in men, would be a male superhero who's able to fix everything by just being totally checked out and not caring and just chilling. Like, I'm just laying on my couch, and it's actually my superpower is when I don't have to get involved with anything, everything goes great.
So we got this, what do we got here? We got, what do we have here? Ryan Brown says, yeah, Seamus, America will be judged, weighed, and found wanting, made insignificant to the rest of the world, severely weakened in the Third World War. It starts after civil wars in Europe.
If you say so.
Yeah, I don't think
Well, he did.
That's just like your opinion, man.
What do we got here? Raymond G. Stanley Jr. says, Tim, the Boonies 250 America boards are super duper cool, especially the Redcoats and Jacked Chicken boards. The Redcoats is sold out. Folks want to know if more will be made. Go IRL America 250. Well, I texted Ian, let him know that like the board sold out. And he said, what if we do a special edition with like blood and like actually make it, adult, not for the kids. But I said, I think it would be unfair to those that watch the show, were here at the announcement, and a lot of people weren't able to buy it. And they're limited edition intentionally. Like we want it to be special for you and for like the most dedicated fans. So we announce them and say, limited edition, get them while you can. If we were to release more later, I feel like that would be unfair to those, it would be for those who aren't as dedicated. But I maybe we'll do one more because I knew when I saw the art, I was like, we're going to sell that out in 10 minutes. Like the entire Timcast crew just killing Ian. Man.
Poor Ian.
Everyone's going to buy that.
Poor Ian.
But I told Ian, let's do Ian's Revenge. Let's do a part 2. And he says he wants to be George Washington. And I'm like, well, no, because you have a character.
Be a red coat. He has to be
you're a red
guy.
coat.
Yeah.
Zombie Ian.
Zombie would be good. Yeah. Zombie Ian's Revenge. Yeah, for Halloween.
Halloween.
That'd be, it'd be really cool for Halloween. We do an American Revolution Halloween.
That'd be pretty cool.
So it's like we do a few boards. Zombie Ian gets revenge, and everyone's running and screaming from him, and he's wearing the tattered red coat. It's like horror. It's like the redcoats win because they're zombies now.
It would be good.
All right, everybody. What
in 2010, if you pitched that film, they would have made it.
Oh yeah.
Let's
that's so cool.
Let's grab one more. We got this from Slick STB. He says, got here late. Hope you shot this out. Shouldn't even the head of FBI have a hobby at least? Can't Cash have a hobby and a passion for a game like hockey?
No.
If a drink is had, okay. If a president plays a game of basketball or goes golfing, can't they have some downtime?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, Trump's always going golfing. They yell at him all the time for going golfing. Oh, what's he doing, huh?
No, what's wrong with golfing?
Get out of here. All right, everybody. Smash the like button. Share the show with everyone you've ever met, including your pets. You can follow me on X and Instagram at Timcast. Tony, do you want to shout anything out?
If you're in Texas, currentrevolt.com, or you can follow me on X at currentrevolt.
Guys, thank you so much for watching. It's been great coming back out here to do the show. We really put our money where our mouth is with our crowdfunding campaign. We're producing the show. It looks excellent. The reception has been absolutely phenomenal. People are loving it. So if you are sick and tired of the dominant media culture being completely owned and controlled by leftists, and you want entertaining content produced by right-wing artists, which is actually entertaining and funny and enjoyable and not just preachy and boring, go over to our YouTube channel at Freedom Tunes. Check out our new full-length show, Twisted Plots. You guys are going to love it. Our audience is loving it. Thank you so much, and God bless.
I am Phil That Remains on Twix. The band is All That Remains. You can check out the band at Apple Music, Amazon Music, Pandora, YouTube, Spotify, and Deezer. Don't forget the left lane is for crime.
I'm Carter Banks. You can follow me at Carter Banks everywhere and at Carter Banks Official everywhere else. Seamus, I had the pleasure of tracking some lines with Ian for your show, so I've seen a little bit about, behind the scenes. It's really funny. So I think y'all should go check it out. And yeah, Tony, thanks for coming out. Let's get into the after show.
We'll see you all at rumble.com/Timcast IRL right now for the Uncensored Show. Thanks for hanging out.